Don Batard.
Would you like to talk to Mel Kiper Jr. about music? Would you like to do that? Is that something that you would enjoy doing?
I mean, sure, I love music.
Stugotz.
I'm a big Aaron Paul fan, though. You talk about Breaking Bad, you talk about some of the greatest television shows of all time. You talk about Sopranos, and then, right there, Breaking Bad.
Not really talking music.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Do you like Alanis Morissette's music? Yes or no?
Pretty good, man.
I love her music.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, wow. Greg Cote, it doesn't appear like Greg Cote likes her music. He was surprised that I would like her music.
Not a huge fan. I do like Adele. There's my guilty pleasure.
Oh, but what does that have to do with anything?
You know, guilty pleasures in music.
What do you
Wait
mean
a second. Did you
guilty
just get
pleasure?
defensive to the point, like, no, I like it when women make music. I like Adele. Did you just do, like, I have many black friends?
Weird.
No?
That was weird. Your reaction
happened?
there
That
was
was a
weird.
very
It was a
weird defensive reaction.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I like a number of. I can start reciting women artists I like. What do
But
mean?
you understand what Mike is saying there. Like, you quickly had to announce, upon saying that you
Yes,
didn't like Alanis
don't call me a
Morissette-
sexist.
Right.
Don't call me a sexist. I like this one woman's music, even though I find women to be generally inferior.
No, that's not true. Well, wasn't it Alanis Morissette that famously misused the word irony?
Says
in
the
song?
guy who just got ampersand wrong.
Yeah, I know, and I'm mortified by that because I know better. You know, and versus at. I mean, an ampersand is one of the kings of punctuation. You know, so I
Well, wait a minute.
disrespected ampersand,
Right. Well,
not
wait,
the at.
that
symbol.
is untrue. Guillermo, put that on the poll. Is the ampersand one of the kings of punctuation? I disagree with that vehemently. What are the kings of punctuation? The exclamation point?
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a colon for calling the ampersand a king of
It is a
of-
king.
A king?
King.
How can the ampersand be a king
I mean,
of punctuation?
Look at it. It's a beauty, man. It's like a little A with a circle around it. It's artsy.
It's not a little.
wonderful to
No,
look
that's-
at.
you're confusing it
no,
again.
the
That's
little
the
A.
at.
That is the at.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
not
that's
the
the at. Never mind.
Ampersand is like
moron.
Did you answer my question, music expert? She misused the word irony
Yes,
Yeah,
she
that was
did.
the song we came
Yes.
back with.
in her most
Ironic.
famous song.
Yes.
Well, that's not her most famous song. You ought to know it's probably her most
Oh, yeah,
famous song.
that's a good one. I do like her.
That's not a fine, man.
It's a
You just
fine,
agreed
Mike.
with. No, shut up. No, it's not a fine.
Mike, it's a fine, man.
He asked a question. He asked if that's her most famous song, and I pointed out that it's not.
I would argue that it is. Look at the charts.
The charts would vindicate me here.
I'm a
You ought to
Billboard
know.
freak. I say it is more popular.
Facts and info. Is that a music snob fine for Mike? Yes or no?
Yes.
Guillermo, yes or no? Music fine for Mike Ryan.
Yeah.
Roy, yes or no?
No.
Stugotz, yes or no? Fine. Music fine for music snob fine.
I mean, you told me to shut up already, so yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. $2, Mike.
No.
Mike, you can't.
I refuse.
Mike,
yes.
no,
I
Mike,
refuse.
Mike.
You can't
All
do
right,
that
all
to
right,
me.
fine.
You cannot do that.
All right,
That's totally unfair.
That's fine. You want to do that? You end the fining system. If you rebel against it, and it's
right,
all over.
cool. I say myself unjust money being
it's
spent.
all over.
Because if you have no respect for this system,
Mike,
why should I?
it's a
So
democracy.
done.
It's
No,
a democracy.
It's not a democracy. It's a bunch of people that want to mess with my money.
All right, let's split up this money.
Mike likes controlling things,
Mike,
man. The grit
Mike's
of
the
death,
only one here who objects to this
It's
vehemently.
because you guys don't know what you're talking about when it comes to music. So when someone comes along with a slight modicum of musical knowledge, you get angry at them and you project at them because you're losers.
$2.
If it's a modicum,
That's $2. I'll earn it.
Anarchy.
if it's a modicum,
Tone issues, too.
it is slight. Slight modicum is redundant.
That's right.
We appreciate your knowledge of music. We just
Oh, grammar snob.
We
$2.
we just want you to deliver it in a certain voice. That's it.
That's it.
No, because I'll throw people. That was a casual conversation
You
amongst friends.
make a mess. It's weird. It is a weird. It's weird what you have happening here, and I don't know how to handle it. Do you guys have any explanations for me as to how it is that I should manage this situation? Can you help me at all, please?
I could try. Greg, what do you think? Give him a tip.
It's Dan, Stu, and Greg Cote.
No one's taking inventory of anything that I say. You and Mike are always taking inventory of all the things that I say. So this week, I said, listen, there are two things I don't want people to judge me on. Don't tell me how to parent my kids, and don't tell me how to be a fan, okay? Because everyone's blasting Raider fans for no longer. A week ago, I was telling Greeny how to be a college basketball fan, and no one took inventory, and no one called me out on it.
You were telling Northwestern fans how to be fans.
Yes.
Everyone's blasting Raiders fans for no longer what? You ejected on an entire sentence.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Everyone knew. Everyone's blasting Raiders. Everyone knew.
Mike, tell me what he was thinking. Or you ask him. Mike, explain what he was thinking.
Can I get the sentence again as it was?
Everyone was blasting Raider fans.
For no longer.
Now go.
I have no idea. It can go so many ways.
Let me fill it in for you. Everyone is blasting Raider fans.
No, I can fill it in. I'm fluent in Stugotz for no longer supporting the Raiders if they move to Las Vegas. Or
Correct.
when they move to Las Vegas.
Yes. And people are getting on them for doing that. And I'm telling you, don't tell me how to root for my teams. All right? Don't tell me how to root for my teams. If I want to root for the Raiders, if they leave my city, then I'll root for the Raiders. And if I don't, I won't. And I don't need you to tell me how to do it and which way to do it. I'll root for them if I want to, and I won't if I don't want to. That's simple.
So you ejected on 48 words.
Pretty much.
Okay, but his point stands, which is that he says, don't tell me how to parent my kids, don't tell me how to be a fan. And a week ago, he was ripping Mike Greenberg up and down for how he was a Northwestern basketball fan.
Yes.
And what this is the thing about, like, no.
I can't keep up, man.
No, we can keep up. It's unbelievably tiring, but we can keep up. But he absolutely needs a system of checks. A system of checks and balances, because left to his own devices, he will keep gaining power. And it'll keep getting stronger, and he will be more inconsistent, and he'll be standing with his fists on his hips as a superhero of Blowhard. Captain Blowhard is here, and it's awful. It's awful.
Is Mike the sidekick who finishes my sentences?
You need somebody to rein you in. Otherwise, you will soar right into the sun with your inconsistent takes. Like, you will just eject, like, just unfinished takes. The last one, the Raiders, don't tell the Raiders fans that they're no longer, and then poof, you just explode into the sun.
Just let me fly, man.
A texter writes in, you can't use the word diluting for every situation, Dan. Oh, don't underestimate me. What are some of my pet words that annoy you? Because I think people find me more annoying than I find me.
You have a couple phrases. Rinse, repeat.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You like to rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
What happened to washing?
You put things in a vacuum so much.
You really do.
Yeah.
What else?
You like cleaning, apparently.
What else?
Make this sound where you're like eating a lot all the time.
What is it?
Well, it's just you like munching because you're constantly eating.
Chewing.
It is?
Yeah, a chewing sound.
I do? What does that sound like?
It's a fat joke, Dan. I'm saying that you're always eating.
I know, but that's not true. And now that
I was kidding, and now it's a bad joke that I'm going to have to awkwardly have Al Jefferson laugh at to keep this thing moving.
That's better. Much better.
Cathedral is one of them.
Ooh, that's a good one, Stu.
Yeah, well, I stole it from a texter.
Well, yeah, it's hard work. That's why you fall asleep in a stool. You just sit there staring at the text machine for 4 hours, stealing things, and then you fall asleep in a stool.
Mm-hmm. Indictment.
That's a good one.
Ooh, that is an indictment.
Look at you guys. You guys have been waiting for this show.
Sample size. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the first ballot.
Ecosystem?
Well, no.
No, that one's not
give
terrible.
That one time.
Jarring.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Jarred by you.
Yes.
Jarring use of jarring.
Mm-hmm.
Texters are coming strong here. Well, but wait a minute. Unprecedented?
Precedent you like to use.
Yeah,
I mean, but when things are without a precedent, I think it's pretty interesting to point them out, no?
I mean, that is the word you use.
As opposed to what? Never seen it before?
Ah, there you go. Change it up sometime.
Okay, so like one word instead of 3 or 4.
Yep. Recoil.
Here's a new one. He does that a lot. Here's a new one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Flume.
Do I use flume that much?
Yeah.
Flume's a funny word. All these other words are not necessarily funny. But flume is a funny word.
guys better fix this or you're fired.
Yeah.
Dummies.
You
Get
guys,
my coffee.
You realize how fortunate you guys are that you guys better fix this or you're fired? That one of my pet phrases isn't "you're fired" because you haven't fixed this?
We'd all be fired a long time ago.
Yeah, because it never actually gets fixed.
Well, I said goodbye to 1440 this morning, to baseball cards and Tonka tanks.
Guillermo, do you have the show killer sound? Just put the show killer sound on there. Greg Cote of the Miami Herald is in with us. Guess what, guys? Greg Cote of the Miami Herald does not have a Back in My Day.
Uh-oh.
Just didn't feel like it.
No, that's not true. No,
Yeah, it is true.
No.
It is true. You just didn't feel like doing it.
The
You came in here.
muse must visit you.
Mm-hmm.
You never go to it. And so in this case, an idea I had collapsed on me, and the muse did not visit in time for me to do another one.
Yeah, you chose not to do it. Just didn't feel like it.
This entire room had a big part in a group text of helping him come up with some ideas, and we got it to him yesterday evening, and he seemed like he was going to do it. I don't know what happened from then.
It just didn't feel like it. I would go back to my original point of he just didn't feel like it.
Yeah, they can't come all the time. The ideas,
Right.
you know, they want to come a
Well,
little
they don't have
earlier
to come
than
all the
last
time.
night.
They don't have to come all the time. It could just be once a week. Well, once a week seems like a manageable period
That's a
of
lot.
time. Yeah,
That's
it
a
is.
lot.
Is it?
Yeah,
Do you have a soup?
I do have a soup, and it's
nice.
a beauty, man.
Oh,
It is
wow.
a beauty, and so
Wow.
simple. I wish we could make it in studio. That's how simple it is. I need like 5 ingredients if we can pull that together.
Well, let's go ahead and do soup of the day right now. Then let's just get it out of the way.
What?
That's a national benchmark with all sorts of TV imagery.
Yeah, but this is some sort of penalty for not
It's a
doing
penalty
back in my
for not
day.
doing
right.
back in my day.
He doesn't get the big
he said when he
stage.
sent the note saying I don't have a back in my day, I'll take all the slings and arrows. Yeah, evidently he's not quite willing to
I meant
take.
spoken slings and arrows.
No, there's a punitive sling and arrow coming right
That's
here.
not right.
Yeah, right here. We're going to do soup of the
I'm
day.
not ready for it yet.
Well, I mean, good luck doing it during the show if I don't throw to it and stop talking. You're going to just try and sneak
Good,
it in?
though.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Good. Guillermo, put this on the poll. Should Greg Cote be punished? We'll find out next segment how the listeners decide. Should Greg Cote be punished for not doing a Back in My Day? Yes or no?
No, I would vote no.
Well, of course.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's the way you would vote?
You don't say.
I all the other bells and whistles are here. Soup, show and tell item.
Nice.
All the bells and the
The
whistles.
easy ones and the least popular, the less popular ones. I shouldn't say least popular because they're all popular, but the less popular ones. Back in My Day is the most popular Greg Cote benchmark.
That's a benchmark. It's
that
a
what it's
Tuesday
called?
benchmark. People look forward.
Is that like a radio phrase?
What is a benchmark? This is a good point by Cote because I'm not a trained radio professional. I've been using the word benchmark since I learned it in radio, but I don't know what the hell a benchmark is. What is an actual bench? You see Dirk Nowitzki, when he scored 30,000th point, Bud Light sent him 30,000 beers.
Really?
That's right. Shane Battier was insane with jealousy because he wasn't a better scorer. Shane Battier got a truck full of Budweiser. How happy would that make you, Greg Cote, as a nightly beer drinker in your garage?
I mean, I'm trying to do the math. 24-pack.
Right.
How many 24-packs would that be?
Well, how long would that take you to consume? 30,000 beers. Do you think that that's something that actually goes to Dirk Nowitzki's house? Do you think that Dirk Nowitzki keeps that somewhere in his garage? Like how much tonnage is that? How much weight is 30,000? Can you guys figure that out for me? How much weight is 30,000 beers? Wow, that was figured out very fast.
Whoa.
I don't have that. My dad asked about the 12 packs. It's 2,500 12 packs.
Wow. That would last me almost a year.
Greg Cote can drink some beer.
Yeah, you can.
I've met no one who can drink beer like Greg Cote. Only one other person come close. Works for the Miami Heat. Only one other person I've ever met who can drink beer like Greg Cote can drink. How many beers? If I gave you,
You're in the garage, nice Friday night. You got a cigar working. How many beers?
I mean, over what period of time?
a couple of hours.
Whatever.
10 or 12.
2,500 12-packs of beer would weigh roughly 24,500 pounds.
So what's a ton? 2,200 pounds? So that's 12 tons of beer?
Isn't a ton 2,000 pounds? I could be wrong.
Okay. So that's 12 tons of beer.
Crazy.
So where does Dirk Nowitzki put that?
Right in his belly.
Does Guillermo put...
Trust me, he's got a deal where he has a certain amount of it delivered to his home, weekly.
Why would I trust you on this? As if you're some sort of expert on Dirk Nowitzki getting beer?
I think it goes without saying. I think, Greg, it's a logical leap. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Stugotz probably sees like a financial opportunity here.
I'm thinking wheels are turning.
Yeah, he's going to sell beer on his front lawn. He's going to have Bud Light.
Right. Instead of a little lemonade stand.
A beer
he's got
stand,
a Bud Light stand.
And my girls out there, my daughter's selling beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a crime.
It is?
Shouldn't be.
I don't believe you have to be 21 to sell beer.
I think you have to be 18.
Wait a minute.
Possibly.
Guillermo, put this on the poll. 13-year-old girl selling beer on the front lawn. Crime or no crime? What are you kidding me?
I don't think it's a crime, man.
Yeah, I think that falls on the parents. And
they're not drinking it.
Sign a waiver? You got to sign a waiver so your 13-year-old twins could sell alcohol on their lawn? Sign a waiver.
Yeah.
That's what just got suggested back there.
Yeah, parent or legal guardian, sign a waiver.
Yeah.
I'd sign that in a heartbeat.
And it's a great strategy, right?
Guillermo, put it on the poll.
Make it a full bar.
Legal or illegal? Two 13-year-olds selling beer on the lawn.
I'll have a gin fizz, please.
All right.
Put another poll with a signed waiver, though.
Yeah, with a signed waiver.
That's an important detail.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to say no to the kids? It's why you have the kids sell the cookies. It's why you have the kids out at the lemonade stand. Mm-hmm. I mean...
What a combo. Girl Scout cookies and Bud Light.
Do you guys realize what you're talking about here? That, yes, I get it for chocolate chip cookies and for lemonade. Do you realize how many parents would end up on your front lawn yelling at you, not buying beer, yelling at you because you have your kids? You'd be welcoming into your driveway people telling you how to parent.
Yeah, but the kids aren't selling to kids. They're selling to, you got to show a valid ID. They're only selling to 21 and older.
Correct.
I mean,
ain't nothing wrong with it.
There are rules here.
Right.
American way.
You guys actually think that teenagers are allowed to sell beer? That's something that's an actual thought that's back there.
Yeah. I don't know if it's 18, but I know you don't have to be 21 to sell beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Half of the lemonade stands are selling spiked lemonade. No, that's a fact. You can look that up.
A little vodka in there, yeah.
Right, a little vodka, Tom Collins.
Yep.
The first mixed drink I ever drank was a Tom Collins, by the way. Do they even make those anymore, Tom Collins?
Oh, I think they do. Sure, yeah.
I've never heard that phrase uttered lately. Give me a TC on the rocks.
So what are we looking up again?
Half of the lemonade stands in America are dealing spiked lemonade.
All right, I'm on it.
Read that somewhere. I can't remember where.
Greg Cody's move is that's a fact, look it up. And it's not a fact. And you're going to look it up, and you're not going to find that that's a fact. I read that somewhere. He's so comfortable making things up. Stugotz is actually looking this up as if this is something that he might find. He's chewing on his tongue while he looks it up. You are so many kinds of wrong that this is a fact that can be looked up.
Okay, yes or no? Has any lemonade stand ever sold
Go to commercial.
lemonade?
Anthony one is great.
Yeah.
Looks like a balloon with a face drawn on it.
I like silver as the black dungy as well. That's pretty good.
The white dungy.
Yeah, whatever.
Not whatever.
Really not a whatever situation.
It's not a whatever situation.
Right.
It's the white dungy.
You know what I meant. By the way, I'm surprised that...
You've been so bad today.
I'm surprised
like even by your standards.
No, not by my standards, I haven't. It's been average.
What are you surprised by?
that the "What If I Told You" intro works as a construct. That I would not have guessed that worked with every one of these, but it does. Tinkling piano helps.
What else you got, Guillermo?
All right, we have two more. This is number one, North Carolina.
Andrew Bogut gave the Cavs 58 seconds. You take on that salary.
Yep.
You take on that salary at whatever the prorated luxury tax rate is. You waive him after 58 seconds of basketball, and now you've got to pay Larry Sanders. And it's just these, because they're over the luxury tax, everything they're buying is costs 3 times as much as anyone else trying to buy it. So it's just very slowly bleeding Dan Gilbert on the end of the bench in a way that has to privately delight LeBron James that he can do that.
You think when Bogut went down, Gilbert's like, come on, man.
Yeah, like, come on. 58 seconds for a few $1 million? Come on.
How much money did he make per second? We should figure that out.
No, let's not.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
No, let's not do that. You can do that on your own time.
All right, let me do it right
Doing math on the radio, not a lot of fun. And it's the second time you've done it today.
Right.
You did it with the tonnage on Bud Light. Because as I've said, you've been terrible today. Allyson, can you put this on the poll, please? Has Greg Cote been terrible today? Yes or no? At Le Batard Show.
3 divided by...
What do you think, Stugotz? I've gone back into the studio a couple of times. Man, your father's been terrible today. And his son has agreed with me.
We're judging by Greg Cote's standards. Has he been terrible? Yeah, it hasn't been your best day.
Let's go around the room.
Well, not everything can be my best day.
Fats and Info, how do you feel about your father's performance today?
Really bad.
Yeah. Allyson, how do you feel about Greg Cote's performance today?
Bad.
Yeah. Roy?
Do better, Greg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guillermo?
Universal condemnation.
Guillermo?
I mean, I'm a Greg fan. These are my favorite days. It hasn't been terrible.
Thank you, Billy.
Oh, well, we're all Greg fans. I think we all agree that Tuesday has become our favorite day. We love Greg. The question is, has he been terrible today?
Yeah, but sometimes it's terrible that doesn't get that we can make into something. Terrible that becomes better because it's funny when he's terrible. Today he's just been routinely terrible.
Bogut earned $190,000, $190,172 per second, almost $200,000 per second. You're welcome. How's that for terrible contribution?
Can I change my vote?
Should Greg Cote be punished for not having a back in my day? 89% of the audience said yes.
Yeah, just didn't feel like doing it.
Yep.
Just didn't feel like it.
Lie.
Putting forth the kind of effort you've come to expect from the great Greg Cote on Tuesdays.
Liar!
Why?
Liar!
Fats and Info I read his lips. Your son just said, I can see his mouth in a soundproof room. I hate him. I hate him is what your son just said because you're embarrassing him so.
Liar!
If you're not watching on television, Greg Cote is speaking into a water bottle.
Liar!
Guillermo, do you have the show killer sound? Just put the show killer sound on there.
Show killer!
We're just all in amazement, just frozen.
I mean, just doesn't care that he's horrific at this. Doesn't care.
Does care.
Show killer!
It's amazing.
Please stop.
Can you whistle at Le Batard Show? Is it legal or illegal for two 13-year-olds to sell beer on the front lawn?
That's the last time you guys destroyed this show.
Yeah.
It was the two of you teaming up to destroy it.
79% of the audience said it's illegal. If their parents sign a waiver, is it legal or illegal for two 13-year-olds to sell beer on the front lawn?
Unbelievable, you guys.
70% of the audience still said
a waiver.
It's illegal. A waiver.
What kind of waiver are you guys talking about?
So 9% of the people say it's okay then.
Yes,
the waiver.
9% said 9%. We got a 9% margin of error on gullible waiver count people.
Oh, there's a waiver. Okay.
Yes, there's a waiver. Okay, totally. I'll buy beer from a 13-year-old. Why is Chris Hansen here?
Do you like San Francisco? I said it's an overrated city. Dan said it's one of the great cities in America. I think Greg agreed.
Wait a minute. These are two different things, though. See, these are two different things. If you put up on the poll, is San Francisco overrated, a lot of people will say yes and still like San Francisco. Do you like San Francisco was the question at Le Batard Show, because Stugotz is saying he doesn't like San Francisco.
Yep, too hilly. 51% of the audience said yes. They said yes. They like San Francisco. Do you know the name of the new coach of the Bills? 80% of the audience said no.
That's great. That is great.
Which is better? Jim Tom Sula sounds like a monster a Creole grandma comes up with to keep the kids quiet. Jay Cutler looks like the guy trying to break into a house in an alarm company commercial. 58% of the audience said Jay Cutler.
What?
Yeah, it's an upset. An absolute upset. Has Greg Cote been terrible today? 61% of the audience said yes. Does Abby love Sundays? Early voting here. 59% of the audience said no. She does not love Sundays.
I love that you don't know whether she loves Sundays or not.
I have no idea.
There are a lot of people snitching on Greg Cote over here, saying that he has spent the entire show, I don't know what's on his computer, refreshing some sort of haiku challenge that he's doing at the Miami Herald. It's a terrible idea that he's been doing for a long time.
Really, really unpopular.
Okay, so
Just spectacularly unpopular.
And how many years have you been doing this?
This is the 12th annual.
I
think in 12 years we've had approximately 12 entries.
Okay, and what? How many? What is the prize? What is the prize?
Well, we got to figure that out. You don't do it for the prize.
Figure it out.
You do it for the glory, for the mental gymnastics.
Right. But there's no prizes? I mean,
well, there might be. We'll come up with something. Maybe I'll throw a hat in there or something.
All right, great. I can't. Now that you've incentivized it with such enthusiasm, I can't imagine.
17 syllables. Maybe I'll throw a hat in there somewhere. That's 10. I need 7 syllables. Somebody loan me 7 syllables. Somebody loan me 7 syllables. That's 9. That's not a haiku.
It's the worst show he's ever done.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm refreshing the poll here because before it was 61% of the audience felt like Greg has been terrible. I just refreshed it. 72%.
It's as unprofessional as anything I've ever seen in my life. And I think he thinks that it's good, and it's not good. Now look at him leaning back in his chair, just staring at the clock.
I'm luxuriating in my own success.
Greg, do you think you've been good today?
I think I've been really good. One of my best performances.
Really?
The Back in My Day? One of your better ones?
I thought it was.
Where can people go to find your bleeping haiku challenge?
MiamiHerald.com.
Brings us to something I have not yet heard, which evidently, you heard us yelling in the middle of the interview at Cote because he did something befuddled and strange and his timing was totally off. Now, I have not heard the sound we're about to play for you. I was on vacation. What happened? Well, Stugotz, can you guys explain to me what this sound is?
I think it was it last Wednesday, Greg?
Yeah, you were choking
Tuesday?
on a peanut or something.
Yeah, no, that was Dan. He did that once at the American Airlines Arena when we did it remote. But
what were you choking on? I can't remember.
I choked. I don't remember what it was. I think the water went down the wrong pipe or something like that. But we were introducing Ethan Skolnick of the Bleacher Report as a guest, and Dan, I lost it. I couldn't speak anymore, and so I turned to Greg Cote, much the way at times you turn to me.
That's happened a number of times to me on the air. For whatever reason, I can't speak, and Stugotz does a good job of camouflaging it by jumping in and just making a bunch of jokes or whatever. It gets camouflaged. This happened a couple of weeks ago with Bomani Jones, where both of you, I was coughing. I had a coughing fit of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you guys leapt to my rescue by gas bagging in my stead. You got in there, and like my microphone was useless. I was keeled over coughing.
Well, Cote didn't do that.
Right. Well, here is Greg Cote. So Stugotz is choking, and he looks to Greg Cote.
Violently pointing at me.
Right. He's pointing at you silently, which I didn't even have to do. I don't have to do with Stugotz or with Bomani. They see that I'm heaving and coughing, and therefore they jump in because we're all on the radio together. And so they're like, well, if Dan's not talking, and there's silence, and maybe we should talk. Not how it played out with Cote when Stugotz started joking.
Ethan Skolnick continues with us now on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline.
Ethan, are you there?
I am here.
All right.
I think it goes back by joking goes back even further.
No, the funniest part about that, I thought the funniest part about that was going to be Cote, but it's absolutely not. It's the demon that has seized Stugotz's larynx clearly from his insides.
Ethan Skolnick continues with us now on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline.
Ethan, are you there?
I am here.
All right.
Excellent first question by Cote. Excellent icebreaker. Excellent. Let's listen again to Stugotz here being dragged into the bowels of hell by a mysterious evil hand that clearly grabs his throat.
Ethan Skolnick continues with us now on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline.
Ethan, are you there?
I am here.
All right.
Don Batard.
Guillermo, you seem to lack confidence. I'm looking at you, and you right there called out by Mike. I've never seen you shrink quite that much physically.
That's just me, you know. That's what I do.
Stugotz.
Are you confident in the bit you're producing?
No.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
A transaction has happened here that I find legitimately interesting and that people who care about the sport would find interesting. And if the comparable were made in football or basketball, you would absolutely want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I'm offering you, I'm saying, hey, is this interesting, guys? You want to talk about this? And both of your every response is just to bitch about the sport.
Yeah, well, sport deserves it. I mean, what else do you want to say about Tulo? I guarantee you, within 16 innings, he'll break a hip on that artificial turf. Tulo, please. Guy's overrated. I mean, stay healthy for an entire season. Blue Jays. Seriously, the Blue Jays trading away Reyes, who's a cheaper shortstop, and
who's always healthy, by the way. He's not going to break his hip anywhere.
And two big arms. I mean, seriously, because they're 3 games out of the wild card. They're 7.5 back in the AL East, and they think Tulo's going to fix it? Please.
Yeah. Canadian team.
Have fun in Canada.
Wow, you both went to the same default position of Canada at the same
right.
time because Stugotz is the son you don't have. Like, seriously, you guys both defaulted magically there to spitting something out about Canada that doesn't have any place in this conversation. You just spit out Canadian team as he spit out have fun in Canada.
The loony.
True, it's Canada.
Seriously, who cares about Canada?
I got enough trouble keeping track of the United States without worrying about another country.
I mean, when you think Canada, what do you think of? Not Tulowitzki or the Blue Jays. I think maple syrup.
I think of not winning Stanley Cups.
Yeah. I think of Tim Hortons.
Canadian Mounties.
Yeah. They don't have Starbucks there either. You know that?
Is that right?
Right.
I didn't know that.
True. How about they get one?
Seriously.
I mean, I think they have Starbucks. It's just Tim Hortons is super popular.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What just happened there? Where
I've been operating under the assumption that there are no Starbucks
I saw
in Toronto.
Starbucks in China. I mean, how could there not be a Starbucks in Toronto?
Let me check it out.
Well, but wait a minute. How did you say that without knowing it?
I have
made
a feeling.
sense.
Yeah.
It rang true.
Yeah.
It did. It rang true.
Mike, look
there
up
are
for
several,
me.
Dan.
How many? No, not several. I want to know how many. Now I want to know how many Starbucks there are in Canada. I want a number.
Whatever it is, they need to get more.
And who's this Tim Horton guy? I mean, what self-respecting entrepreneur names the restaurant chain after himself? That's unheard of.
We have a map, Dan, if you could see it.
Look at that map. I can throw a tennis ball from Starbucks to Starbucks in Canada.
That's not Canada, though. That's just Toronto.
That's just Toronto. Look at all those green dots that represent Starbucks. Look, they're on top of each other. From the map I'm looking at, they've clearly built a Starbucks on top of another Starbucks.
Perhaps I was off on that one. Gonna watch it.
Let's go ahead and play some of the stuff you guys got back there making fun of Mike Francesca, please. That's, of course, HBO's famous famous imaging. What else you got back there? Such a beautiful voice, and Whitney Houston's isn't bad either.
The headline that came with that sound, it's pretty much the greatest thing you'll ever hear. Usually, you click on the sound and it's going to disappoint because you have these major expectations. Rare is the time where that comes with that headline and it exceeds the headline because it is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
What is the account? It is the greatest thing Stugotz ever heard since the last greatest thing he's ever heard.
It's something Funhouse.
It's at Sports Funhouse.
Yeah, Sports Funhouse, and it's basically just dedicated to making fun of Mike Francesca.
It is a funny Twitter account.
Follow.
Yeah, because and to be fair, not that we've been fair to Mike Francesca at any point in the last 3 years, but to be fair, if you're doing a radio show for 6.5 hours a day by yourself, you're gonna need some time filling that might not be entertaining.
That's actually a good job out of him while he's reading to inform his audience of breaking Porzingis news.
I can't explain this. Like, you're going to get mad at me, man. But I am telling you that people who love that show find that to be entertaining. They do. They find that to be entertaining.
You know, there's another option, which is just read out loud, not in your head, and inform everyone at the same time and not process it.
He's telling you what's there is not important.
He's editing for you. He's doing you the favor, Bill.
Yes.
And that's a lot better than reading.
Instead of the words in Porzingis' statement, he's giving you the tumbleweed that's blowing around in his head and what it sounds like.
Don't worry, he still wants to be a Nick. This is Porzingis will says that, okay, I love New York, okay, so still wants to be here. I never thought he didn't, so I don't know why anyone thought he didn't.
Yeah, I knew that. I know everything.
He'll hold a press conference next week in his hometown to formally announce his participation on the Latvian national team. Okay, have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun.
Well, he did give you the important parts. He wants to be in New York.
You got to work that into one of your sports centers. Just a nice little subtle tip of the hat.
Yeah, I think you should do that. The first sports center in the middle should just have a 7.5 seconds of this right here. Let's practice.
I'm on it.
Let's practice.
Let me hear it one more time.
No, you got to tail off and then bring it back, Stu.
Let me hear it one more time.
Is Stugotz going to botch this?
He's botching it right now.
Guillermo, maybe with some practice, he'll get better at it. Guillermo, put it on the poll at 10:30 Eastern as an homage to the king, Mike Francesca. Stugotz is going to do a very subtle 7.5 seconds of thinking.
It's hard. It's a skill, man.
We just realized why this is hard for Stugotz. It is the representation of thinking, something that Stugotz is not familiar with. Let me try. I'm going to try. Ready?
Nah, it's got to be deeper. Got to be stronger than that. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's hard.
It's got to be stronger at the start and stronger at the end.
Everybody, do it together now. Everybody.
Okay.
All right, excellent. All right, we're ready. I was made genuinely happy when I walked in this morning and felt the vibe in here to this song. Everybody was dancing. They were bringing in the camera people and the light people, and they were videotaping them.
Yep.
It looked like an environment that anybody would love to work in.
Except for Roy.
What was happening with Roy? I got here late for that. Roy was just brooding the entire time?
Well, we were dedicating this song to Roy. We changed the lyrics around to make it Roy, and Roy did not smile one time. I have 7 minutes of videotape here on Periscope. It's on Twitter right now. Roy did not smile once.
I was the only one here actually working.
Okay, well, let's go ahead. Well, a good point by Roy. Roy is the first one to get here and the last one to leave a lot of times. Allyson gets here very early in the morning, but among the boys, in fact, I just realized that we don't treat the minorities very well around here. Allyson gets here very early, and Roy gets here right after her. And Roy works very hard. And while Roy was working, everybody else was dancing. Start this song over again. Can you guys recreate for me what it is that you were doing around Roy? I'd like the audience to see what it is that I walked into today. It made me happy to see this. Like, this is nice. This is not the normal thing to walk into as so many people trudge to work miserably.
Sure. Stugotz, why don't you put it on Periscope, too?
No, he already did.
Put it on Periscope again for the people.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Let's go. Roy is difficult to break. It's hard to get him to break character.
We're live, boys. Let's go. Yeah. Roy.
Roy, you can't claim that you're working right now. We're all working. We're all allegedly. That is weird. Oh, here comes the tongue-chewing Stugotz. Stugotz isn't snapping his fingers. He is not shaking his head. He is chewing his tongue. Roy. How could you brood throughout this? This is amazing. It is made all the funnier by Roy brooding in the middle of it.
You guys gonna do this during my birthday?
All right, enough. What happened? What made him break character? What just happened? What happened? Oh, just the music abruptly ending? Okay, the quick fade.
It always works.
Yep. The quick fade made you happy? No, it did. It did. What a blessing to be able to work in this environment. And
how do I turn this off, Mike?
But they were doing it to everybody. They were doing it to Ben, the lighting guy. Did Bruce come in here? Bruce. That would have been funny if Bruce had been in here.
Bruce. We left someone out, though.
Who?
Big guy over here.
Oh,
yeah. I didn't get. Well, which name was the one that flowed the best with the song?
What? It definitely wasn't Allyson. That one was Allyson.
No, you need it to be one syllable, right?
Yeah.
Myra, no.
2 syllables? So none of them work, really.
Do one for Dan. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Who is that? Is that Daft Punk?
Yeah! I gotta start it again.
Yeah, we gotta start it again.
This is the slow part.
The lull in the action.
All right, but what are you guys going to do with this here?
We're gonna do one for you. We're gonna serenade you.
All right. This song will make just about anybody dance, though, right?
So great.
I mean, I don't know if it's a great...
Daft Punk's the best.
Good enough. How old is this song?
90s? Late 90s? Almost 20 years old, this song. Damn.
There we go. You guys feeling it?
You need it to escalate, though, right? This is put up on the poll, the GNC poll. Is this a toe tapper, Guillermo? I feel like this is a universal toe tapper. Right here. Oh, Roy.
No, Dan. No, Dan.
No, I like Roy.
Go, boys.
One more Dan.
Yeah.
This is a way to start a Friday right here. Did you guys do a Stugotz one? Was it John or was it Stugotz?
One more gods.
Dude, I came in here. I was grateful. I'm not even kidding you. Just grateful to have this environment. Please don't tell Bristol that we do these things. But here's the backstory. And sometimes you get it from multiple sources, but your one source is hearing it from your other source, so it's not actually multiple sources. But here's where you are on this. Because ProFootballTalk.com has been having a field day with this, and WEEI in Boston has been having a field day with this, and CSNNE.com has been having a field day with this. What is a field day?
I'm on it.
Do you guys know what a field day is? Because I said it 3 times there, and I don't know exactly what a field day is.
I'm on it.
So there's the backstory. Here it is. It's telling us the chronology of, guys, this is not the order that this happened in. I question the credibility of the people doing the investigating.
I'd have a field day if I'm Tom Brady. The origins of this term come from the military, Dan. The literal sense of the term, that is a day spent in field maneuvers, is now little used. The first reference we have for that meaning is from 1747 in Scheme of Quick Men of War. These periodical interviews.
Let me just stop you for a second. Let me stop because you're
getting to the good part.
No, but I'm more confused than I was before about what a field day is because you're reading that so poorly. Like, you have given me no information. Why can't you just read the information, encapsulate it, and tell me what the hell's a field day?
Because I can't read.
Like, I mean, what was that? What is a field day? I'm more confused now.
You read it. Go ahead.
Stugotz, you haven't been listening to this entire segment.
You asked me to look up origins of a field day.
I know, but how long does it take you to read? And then you finally get the chance to read, and you read that poorly, and you've been reading all segment, and now you're giving us no information. None. What does it mean? I will wait till the end of the segment, and I will sit here silently until you tell us what that means.
I don't like your attitude tonight.
In the middle of that, you ask him, tell me why, Stugotz, and he just said why.
No,
you could have asked him anything.
No, he wasn't listening. I was sitting there the whole segment.
You're having a field day on me.
What is a field day?
Not telling.
You say, how is it possible that you've spent the last 6 minutes not listening to the show, researching this the last 6 minutes, and you don't have any information for me? Roy, Chris, somebody, can I get some competence from somewhere on what a field day is? Can anyone help me? The internet is not hard. Reading is fundamental. Like, somebody help me on what a field day is. We've got an army of people working for this radio show.
I had one of those in elementary school once.
Here you go.
There you go. Who limped in with that? There you go. I've never felt so alone. Like, I've just got a bunch of people staring at me. Everyone here has a computer. Everyone here is being paid to do a job.
You have a computer.
Yeah, but I'm busy talking.
You're being paid more.
I'm busy carrying the show. I'm busy. What have you been doing this segment?
It comes from parade day, like military use. That's what Allyson said.
I don't think that's right.
Texter writes in, Dan, I don't know how Stu hasn't punched your fat face in. I want to so bad. You're such a blank to Stu. I hate your face. All right. Yeah, many of you have sided with Stugotz, as you always do. I'm a big bully. I'm Richie Incognito. But here's what happened, okay? And you're probably right. I lost my temper and I should calm down. But I'm going to play this for you now. So you hear, this was after 6 minutes of research, 6 minutes on air, not saying anything. This is how Stugotz explained what a field day was to us and the origins.
Don't give me credit for 6 minutes of research. Billy sent it to me.
Okay. Well, but you didn't talk for 6 minutes. Like I was talking alone about Chris Mortensen for 6 minutes because you're reading and searching on the internet.
Stop asking for origins.
All right. But look, this is the explanation I got after all of Stugotz's research.
The origins of this term come from the military, Dan. The literal sense of the term, that is a day spent in field maneuvers, is now little used. The first reference we have for that meaning is from 1747 in Scheme of Quick Men of War, these periodical interviews.
Just let me come on, man.
That's the sentence. You didn't let me finish.
Dan Le Batard.
Sports.
Stugotz.
I had the Jags making it to the Super Bowl. Original thought.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Is there anyone, Serge, who refers to you by your full name?
Excuse me?
Is there anyone who refers to you by your full name, your entire name?
No, I don't think so.
Can you tell the audience what your full name is?
Okay, my name. That's how we say that. Like here in the States, they start with Serge Ibaka. But because where I'm come from in Congo or in French, we start always with that Ibaka, Ngubila, Serge, and Jonas.
But isn't your full name 10 words?
Excuse me?
Isn't your full name 10 words? Serge Abulo, Lamu, Sayong.
No, that's not true. That's not my name.
Okay.
Bulala is not my name. My name is Ibaka, Ngobila, Serge, Jonas.
Okay.
That's my full name.
I'm sorry I made that so awkward for you. Hell of a day we're finishing.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just call him Serge, Dan.
StarkeyHearingFoundation.org is where you go if you want to work on this, if you want to help Serge Ibaka with the stuff that he is working for. Serge, can you tell me what it is that you're doing with the Starkey Hearing Foundation?
Man, first I want to thank God.
All right, I'm in a forgiving mood. I'm not going to yell at the audience right now. I botched the beginning of that interview by asking Serge Ibaka his full name. It's 10 words, and I botched it. That's my fault. And his accent was difficult to understand. His story's amazing. His story is heart-wrenching.
Right.
But his accent was difficult to understand, so I'll just be forgiving.
It was a little difficult, but in our audience's defense, and many people enjoyed that.
No, they did not.
Okay.
So here is a tweeter writing in, don't yell at the audience. That ruins it for everyone. It's Friday. I want to get my drink on. Open the club. Open it. Open it. Open it. Oh, I'm tired for the club, Mike. Mike, I need the club to carry me. Mike, carry us into the weekend, all right? I need something good here. I am exhausted. This has been a arduous week. Who's the first person in the club? Isn't your full name 10 words? Serge Abulo, Lamu, Sayong.
No, that's not true.
Come on, man.
That's not my name.
Okay. No, that's just what you needed, man. Mike's carrying you to the club.
It's bringing up bad memories. Isn't your full name 10 words? Serge Abulo, Lamu, Sayong.
No, that's not true. That's not my name.
Oh, man. What happened there is he told you his name, and you questioned the guy on his name.
Because I've got in front of me Serge Abulo, Lamu, Sayonga, Lum, Walahas, Jonas, Hugo, Ibaka. I've got it right in front of me.
Well, clearly that was
He's
bad.
wrong.
Yeah.
Liar. liar! Ibaka's a liar!
That's not my name.
Okay. Okay, I lose. I'm sorry. Who else is in the club?
Bet.
Oh, of course. That, of course, is Stugotz saying the name of former New York Yankees pitcher Andy Pettitte.
Bet. Yeah. Nailed it. Bet.
Yeah. Who else is in the club?
I think that he's learned a lot along the way.
Yeah. Who was that? That's an ESPN guy of some
Mark
sort.
Dominic, I believe.
Yeah, Mark Dominic. This is Mark Dominic swallowing his tongue. Go ahead.
I think that he's learned a lot along the way.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. Look at Fat Chris. Who else is in the club?
Forgetful.
That's right. Roy Bellamy earlier this week given one word to say.
Forgetful.
Forgettable is how he meant to describe an interview. Instead, he described it this way.
Forgetful.
Who else is in the club?
By designating the television, I'm sorry.
Are they all?
By designating the television, I'm sorry.
That is Stugotz saying denigrating the intelligence of Dominican ball players.
Yeah. By designating the television, I'm sorry. By designating the television, I'm sorry.
That's right.
One too many.
Again, that is Stugotz saying, do not denigrate the intelligence of Dominican ball players.
By designating the television, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Who else is in the club?
I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202.
Oh, there it is.
228.
Our friend Lawson, who works over here in Miami, he says Hulk Hogan racist comments fired. Colin Cowherd racist comments fired. Donald Trump racist comments top of the Republican Party. Who else is in the club?
Have any of you guys heard from Kobe, and if so, what did he say?
Great. That's amazing sound, man.
Right.
11 seconds of silence from Lou Williams, Roy Hibbert, and
Have any of
Brandon
you guys heard from
Bass.
Kobe, and if so, what did he say?
That's the press conference. Roy, show some emotion back there. You're surrounded by... Where's Roy? Who else is in the club?
Courtside. Bet.
Oh, really? You're going to do a Stugotz Smith?
Also, preliminary.
Really? You're going to say... Hi, Charles! Oh, how did that not end the club? Oh, no! Hi, Charles!
You just heard the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Hi, Charles!
All right, question number 1. Do you regret firing Allyson?
Yes.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Telling the truth on that issue.
Good job, sir.
1 for 1, baby. 1 for 1. 1 for 1. I don't regret it.
Okay, question number 2. Did you cheat on your score when you played golf with Greenie?
No.
Another truthful response.
Wow.
This is a disaster.
It's broken.
I mean, and he's answering so confidently.
Okay, number 3. Did you lie to Charlie about not being able to golf with him that day? He drove up?
No.
Oh, there's a real one right there. That's deceptive.
Oh, that's a lie!
Sorry, Charlie.
I'm not.
You thought you were gonna beat it.
Remember what I did that day? I paid for Charlie to play around somewhere else, so I'd have to pay with him.
You lied to Charlie is what you did that day.
All right. Okay. 2 for 3.
That's deceptive.
Right. Have you concocted fake meetings and or fake lacrosse practices to get out of commitments?
No.
Ooh, a faker he is. Definitely faking it.
Liar!
thought he'd be better at this.
Yeah, he's in the 95%. Definitely.
So what are you seeing? What is happening there?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I should have brought extra fuses today. I didn't realize what I had here.
Your computer's going to short circuit from how bad the lies are?
Meltdown. Absolutely. Okay. And the next question, do you feel bad for throwing Dan under the bus on SportsCenter and applying public pressure for him to pose nude?
Yes.
That's a no. That's a definite lie. Are your apologies to Dan sincere after you make fun of his fat face?
Yes.
That'd be a no.
Oh, man.
How bad a no
No
is
sincerity here. No, none at all.
He apologizes so often for that. So often he apologizes. I know they're not sincere. Go ahead.
Okay, number 2. For several years on local radio, you endorsed a bee pollen supplement called Nature Bee. Do you ever use Nature Bee regularly?
Yes.
I would go sometimes, not regularly.
Okay, so
I'll
that's,
take it,
so
Joe.
it's close to the truth. It's not a horrible lie.
Almost.
Okay, all right. He said he used it every day. He used it sometimes.
Short memory. All right. Do you feel you get enough credit for coming up with the idea to put Dan on radio?
No.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That is the truth. That's definitely the truth.
Now, wait.
happy
Can
to admit
I
that.
ask a question? Can I ask a question and then you can register his response? You don't have to be asking the
Go for
question,
it.
right?
You're asking
All right.
follow-ups here?
Yeah, well, no, I just
This is
want,
dangerous.
Yes, I want to ask.
It might take a little longer because this one hasn't been pre-calibrated, so go ahead.
Okay. What does that mean?
Means that you're sort of like jumping in on the order, but
you're
let's go.
winging
Let's
it.
do it.
Lie
We're winging
detector
it.
jargon,
Yeah,
man. That's all
yeah,
it is.
let's go.
Okay?
All right.
All right.
Should it be the Stugotz Show with Dan Le Batard?
No.
That'd be the truth.
Whoa!
How about that?
That's
All
a
right.
stunner right
Good
there.
job,
That's
Stu.
a stunner.
You like that? Huh? Now,
I
if you
can't
asked
believe it.
Now, you could have asked, should it be the Dan Le Batard show, Dan Le Batard and Stugotz show? And I would say yes to that.
Oh, so the width is the width?
I mean, the width is like I'm just kind of hanging off, like, you know, like a little toenail, you know? Like I'm just kind of hanging off to the side there, which is what I'm doing, actually.
An important
Yes.
toenail.
Yeah.
All right,
Very
Thank you.
important.
go ahead, Joe.
All right. For Charlie's Grid of Death punishment, did you purchase a doghouse?
Yes.
Not with any money. He did.
That's a lie?
Oh, a whopper.
It's a whopper!
A whopper!
That's a
One of the
whopper!
longest running lies.
Liar! Liar!
My wife did, maybe.
The next one. Does it bother you how much Dan makes fun of you?
No.
Yes, it does.
Oh!
Stugotz, do you believe that Dan is holding you back?
That is such a good question.
No.
That's truthful.
Oh, look at that.
Team player for sure.
You know, like occasionally, like some of the answers, like you get a glimpse into. There's a good guy there somewhere.
Somewhere in there.
Hidden, buried underneath the lies. there is a dollop of a good guy.
Coming through. All right, it's coming through. All right, next question. Would you give up $5,000 of your own salary if it meant that everyone in the shipping container got $20,000 raises?
Yes.
He would do that.
There's a good guy in there. There's a
Some of these questions are just genuinely, I want to know if there's some good in him.
All right, but hold on a second. Can you ask? Can we change the numbers on that a little bit? Can you ask? Would
Push
you
it
give
out a
up
little bit?
$5,000 of your own salary if everyone in the shipping container also got $5,000? Because you just made it $80,000 versus $5,000. Can you change the numbers on that question a little bit?
Okay, just tell me what you need to know.
Ask him, would he exchange $5,000 of his salary in exchange for the shipping container getting to split $10,000?
Why would you exchange $5,000 of your own salary, right?
Yep.
If the shipping container personnel got what?
$10,000.
Okay.
A total of $10,000. The music makes this better.
It really does.
It's very suspenseful. Yes, it's very suspenseful.
Texters are asking if this could be the entire show every day.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and ask that question? I'll monitor it. Go ahead.
Okay. Stugotz, would you give up $5,000 of your own salary if it meant that the shipping container, all 5 people in there, would get $10,000?
Yes.
Still a true answer.
You're a good guy. You're an angel.
See, I think you need to push my losses out more, meaning would I give up like $80,000 for them to get?
Well, I think we should do that, though. All right, so Stugotz, you give me $5,000, and I'll give the shipping container $10,000.
No, let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Maybe tomorrow.
In theory, it sounds good.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay.
Ask the next one.
Did you ever actually go to the doctors about your phlegm problem?
Yes.
That's true.
Look at that.
Really? For the Huck Tuies, huh?
He's
having a good round here, right?
This is a hot streak.
Yeah, you're hot.
Like OJ, I'm not as bad as OJ anymore, right?
He's a hot streak on truth telling.
Well, it's not over yet.
Yes, okay.
We're not done.
I know
it's still early. Yes. All right. Were you hoping Billy would be too timid to ask you to pay him what you owe him for the sports bang?
Yes.
That's true. He's definitely hoping that Billy was too timid.
I'm a horrible person.
That's gross. And he was right about you, Billy. He preyed on your weakness.
It's the dark side.
Yes.
All right, going along that theme. All right, are you dragging this out to avoid paying him?
No.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Hey, Billy, you thought he was a good person. He is no longer a good person.
He just had me fooled.
Yes,
Good luck with that, Billy.
The polygraph test is so much better than you are, Billy. He's preyed on your gullibility.
All right, next question.
Oh no.
It should be oh no. If it meant you got to play Augusta, would you forever avoid paying Billy the money you owe him?
No.
Now, there's another one. Sorry, Billy.
That's a lie! That's a lie! Billy, you're never going to see this money, Billy. This money is never
the
something.
The Guillermo round is killing me, man.
Yeah, the Guillermo.
Killing you.
How much are we talking about?
I love you, Bill.
Wait a minute. I love you, Bill. Can you
tell if that was the truth or
Can
not?
you tell if that was the truth?
Ask me, do I love Guillermo?
Is that short for Bill?
Yes.
Dan, you have the honors. Go ahead, ask him.
You just said, I love you, Billy. Were you telling the truth?
Yes.
He may owe him money, but he's telling the truth about that. He loves the guy.
He loves Billy. Look at that.
But this is a trick. Now I'm starting to like him again.
Yeah, you're a pushover, Billy.
Do you have more questions, or do you want to come back with more questions? Go ahead. What do you have, Joe?
We have one more here, right? We got one more.
All right. Would Stugotz be all right with one of his daughter's ACL tearing if it meant Tom Brady's ACL also tore in week 1?
No. Better come back my way.
That's truthful.
Oh, look at that.
I don't hate Brady that much.
I was sweating. I think I got one by you there, John.
That's a tough one. He snuck one past.
Father of the year.
He snuck one past the machine. He's better at this than we thought. He is Joe. Oh, Joe's over here laughing, and he did. He snuck one past old Joe Harper, professional polygrapher.
Okay. And the last but not least here. If instead of losing half your money, you doubled your money, would you divorce your wife?
Oh, God.
I need to hear that again.
Oh my God!
I need to hear this clearly.
Oh my
okay?
God! This has escalated quickly.
Oh,
He already threw his daughter under the bus. What's going to happen next?
Can I text
Find
her?
out next.
Instead of losing half of your money, you doubled your money. Would you divorce your wife?
No.
Well, not yet. Not divorce her.
Okay.
You answered truthful
man.
there, yeah.
That could have been so ugly for you.
Love my wife, man. Love my
That would have
wife.
been brutal.
Good job. You love money too.
I do love money, but she's the only one who gets me and would put up with me and stay with me for this long. I ain't gonna find anyone else, man. I ain't gonna find anyone else.
Let's put it on a Hallmark.
That's
card.
priceless. I
Take
think I
a
slipped
picture
one.
of it and put it on a Hallmark. Put a picture of Joe.
think I
Take it
s-
home because there's gonna be some sex tonight in the Stugotz household.
I think I slipped another one by him there. Little 5-hole action.
I know. We were talking during the break. Stugotz said, "I never took Nature Beat. I slipped one past. I slipped one past Joe there." Go ahead, Joe. What else you got?
The poor customer. The poor. All right. When you lost your ID card and Mike asked you every day if you looked for it, did you ever look for it?
Yes.
That's a whopper.
Not really.
He's so mad at me right now. I told him that every day for
Every day
12 days, I think.
a month.
Sorry,
Okay.
Mike.
All right. Next one.
Yeah.
Will you ever stop pitching coaches as guests, even though you know Dan doesn't want to interview coaches?
Yeah.
That's definitely a lie. No doubt about that one.
I love some coach. I love me some coaches,
He
man.
won't stop. Every weekend I get, "Hey, you want Lon Kruger?"
I asked if he wanted Don Mattingly earlier this week.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Were you really the big man on campus in college, as you have claimed?
Yes.
Oh, I think that's the truth.
No, it's not.
Oh! Well, who was?
Wasn't you.
Oh, who was? Give us your rival's name, and we'll see if it spikes. Who was your
Think
rival?
for a second. May have been Mike Maltese, perhaps. Could have been Mike. It could have been Chris Gordon. Chris Gordon could have been BMOC. Oh, this is devastating, man.
Go right down the list. Everybody's on top.
Everyone
This
he's
is devastating.
mentioned is
Peter
higher.
Sussman, oh man, this is
gets longer.
heartbreaking.
Yes, it was not. He was not the big man.
But I believed it. Is it truly a lie if I believed that I was?
But you don't believe it.
Clearly did not believe it.
Clearly, you clearly didn't. Go ahead, Joe. What
man.
else you got?
Alrighty. If the Heat and the Knicks played in the Eastern Conference Finals, would you root for the Heat?
Or nerd. Or nerd.
Yes.
Liar.
Let's go Knicks.
Filled with lies. Knicks fan in disguise.
Oh, no.
Childhood teams.
No.
Rough to get away from them.
No.
Okay. All right. Were you ever going to actually spend a night in the Clevelander studio to pay off the grid of death?
Yes.
Not this week.
Oh, liar. How are we going to
We
get
knew
him
that
in
one.
here? I mean, is the next football season really going to start before Stugotz pays his debts from last season?
Obviously.
Can you ask me that one again? Because I realized one of the fingers was not on the table there.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Picks it up anyways.
Right.
Last one quickly, Joe.
All right. Are you envious of Bomani for having what you believe to be your seat on Highly Questionable?
No.
Oh, envy. There is envy in the studio here.
Damn you, Joe!
It's alive with envy.
It's a faulty machine. It's a good question, though.
Let me do it another way. Let me ask him a question.
Okay.
Man.
Are you envious today that sitting in for Bomani is Jorge Sedano in what should be your seat on Highly Questionable?
Truthful now.
No.
Should have gone with yes.
Joe flinched.
I'm simmering.
Joe flinched on that. Joe Harper, his computer,
like something hit him.
Like his computer spit poison at him. Like his computer was spitting acid and fire. Joe's never seen the computer spit like that.
When you blame traffic, is it just an excuse for leaving your house late?
No.
Oh, man. Don't we all do that?
Wow, just a lie. Just a lie.
Mentira.
Mentira.
What?
Mentira, dice Joe Harper, going, trying to pander to our brown friends. Mentira.
Okay. Did you watch the entire OJ Made in America documentary?
Yes.
Appears to be the truth.
Wow, he was unsure of the truth.
He was unsure. He seemed unsure
Well,
of the truth.
I kind of dozed off for a minute or two, so I wasn't sure how to answer that. Like, I remember dozing off towards the end of episode 5.
Do you resent Dan for doing this show from South Beach?
Oh, man. Can you ask that again, Joe?
Do you resent Dan for doing the show from South Beach?
No.
Oh, yes, he does. We're better. South Beach is great.
Well, he lives very far.
I live in Jacksonville,
It's
Joe.
unbelievable.
Oh, you live in the woods.
He keeps getting bigger contracts and moving further and further north. He's going to live in Canada before we're done here.
Okay. Next question. Would you take the first job take? Would you take the first job take job?
The first take job.
First
take job if it meant that everyone on the show would lose their job?
No.
So you would not take the first take job?
If it meant everyone here would lose their job?
That's correct.
I would not.
That's truthful.
Oh, God. Thank God.
Really? I'm surprised by that.
I love you guys, man.
I love you too, man.
Thank you.
Wait, did the meter move when he said I love you guys?
There's a bromance going on here.
I mean, I love Guillermo. We already,
I'm not certain about that one.
Not enough to pay him.
I don't believe him. I believe the machine is faulty, and I believe Joe Harper's a fraud.
Oh, no.
I know.
Come on.
It finally
That's
got me.
convenient.
Finally got me.
Roy, I love you, man.
Okay. All right. Do you wish you would be co-hosting Mike and Mike instead of this show?
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Iron Mike's.
Oh. Right in my soul, puncturing my heart.
I meant it, man. Faulty machine, you're a hack, Joe. You're a hack.
I've been called worse than that.
You're a hack.
But listen, feel good. I wouldn't leave first take if it meant you losing your job.
But that was fine. Okay.
Oh, man, Joe. Mike, with that question.
Generally, I have a sense of humor, but I got to say what it is. Got to tell it like it is. Okay.
Which Mike do I get to host it with?
Take your pick. All right.
Greeny.
Do you only buy the staff lunch on Wednesday because Dan buys everyone lunch on Friday? Which he just did, by the way.
It's a great question.
It is a great question.
Such a great question. No.
Immediate.
What happened? Wait a minute. The machine started telling you he was lying before he said anything?
Well, no, there's a space there where he's thinking about it.
So when he was thinking
what's
about
the space say?
No, you're lying. Clearly, you're lying.
Can you ask that again? I give a more definitive answer. See if it changes the result.
I don't know. We can't change leopards
Okay.
on a
All
spots
right.
on a leopard.
All right.
All right. Do you enjoy it when we have guest hosts?
Oh, that's a good question, too. That's a good question. Do you enjoy it when we have guest hosts? Pablo Torre.
We should, well, no, we shouldn't do that. I was gonna say.
Amino Hassan.
We should do it one by one.
Oh, he just gave us the idea to separate them individually.
All right, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay.
I'll ask the questions.
You do the honors.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you enjoy it when we have guest co-host Pablo Torre?
Yes.
No.
Oh my! I was trying to protect the ears, so you walked right into this.
Do you?
But I do.
Do you enjoy it when we have guest co-host Greg Cote?
Yes.
Sorry, Cody.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
Do you enjoy it when we have guest co-host Amin Al Hassan?
Yes.
Well, that's the truth.
Wow, you like me more than Cody.
Wow.
I love Cody, man.
Do
you
you?
guys know I love Cody.
Cody's the
What
best.
about
That's
Pablo?
why it is a hack.
Sounds like Pablo. Duh.
Oh, he's a little bit too smart for me. I mean, this guy, Pablo.
Do you enjoy it when we have guest co-host Sarah Spain?
Yes.
The female version, he likes that. Definitely.
Okay, he likes
Hey,
Sarah
Sarah.
Spain.
Poor Pablo.
Or Cody.
Oh yeah.
Do you enjoy it when we have guest co-host John Amici?
Yes.
That's true, too.
Okay, so it's just Pablo and Cody that he doesn't like.
That's impossible.
The machine does not lie, my friend.
Oh, sorry.
All right. I feel bad, man. I'll call Cody after the show.
Go ahead, Joe. What about Pablo? Go
Pablo?
ahead.
Whatever.
Go ahead,
It'll
Joe.
be fine. Probably got Around the Horn and PTI and 19 other shows to do today after this.
Okay. Have you ever murdered a human being?
I mean, come on, man.
We need to know.
We have inquiring minds here.
No, Joe.
I believe you.
Oh,
Wow.
that would have been great.
I was weird. I was rooting for him.
I was rooting for Joe there to say that he was lying.
Oh, no.
He's
Having
lying.
too much paperwork then. Okay. If the Cavs would have lost, would you have weaseled out of the belly ring bet?
No.
Guaranteed. Weasel.
Oh, weasel.
Guaranteed weasel. A weasel just came out on your lie detector.
Guaranteed.
Just a little picture of a weasel. A weasel ran across the lie detector. Last two questions here.
Okay.
Polygraph specialist Joe Harper questioning Stugotz.
Stugotz. Are you happy?
Wow, a really general. Oh, great.
Open-ended.
Yes, a very great. Just a great question.
What was it?
You wanted to repeat the question?
Are you happy?
Yes.
That's true. He's a happy man. Happy guy.
Are you happy right now?
No, I feel bad for Greg Cody, actually. That's all I'm thinking about is how badly I feel for Greg.
Cody knows you love him, man.
All right.
This crock, Joe Harper.
Oh, that's all. Okay. Have you ever Googled how to beat a polygraph?
No.
Definitely a lie there.
Great job that did.
You
Spent my entire morning in traffic looking at it.
Wait, you lie about traffic.
There wasn't really any traffic. I was moving 80 miles per hour.
Traffic you may or may not have gotten because you left your home early.
Dan Le Batard.
Did you watch any of the Bears game this weekend?
Stugotz.
No. Why?
Did he just talking about Matt Barkley? Yeah, that's a hard no.
I was watching the Bears all weekend. Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
During the slow summer months every year, we do the Sueys. They're our Oscar awards for incredibly self-involved show moments. We have a new category this year in honor of Greg Cote of the Miami Herald, who is in with us today. Let's find out what that category is.
And now, the Sue nominees for Show-Killing Moment. Show-Killer, Greg Cote, bags of chips down his pants.
Normally, Greg, you're sitting on the couch like I am with your hand down your pants and a bag of chips next to you. Is that fair?
The bag of chips is actually down my pants.
Why would the bag of chips be down your pants?
So that when my hand is down my pants, I can, it's a
kill two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
Right.
Eat two chips with one hand.
That's right.
Show-Killer, Cote takes out Denia Highlight.
I mean, we embrace each other when we see each other. We do. There's a hug. Me and Footy hug each other when we see each other. I recently saw him at Hialeah Park, and we hugged.
Wow. That is one of the saddest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, just visually.
Really? Especially with Hialeah Park.
But it's also because it's not sincere.
Right. It could have been worse. They could have been meeting in a highlight fronton.
Yeah.
They still one of our sponsors?
I hope not.
Daniel Highlight is still a sponsor.
Way to go, Cody.
I love
there. It
Daniel
is.
Highlight.
It took one segment. There you go,
fronton.
Cody. There you go.
That's a fantastic fronton, that one.
Shokular.
Took you one segment.
Pelota. Chula.
Shokular.
Don Chula.
Shokular. Shokular. Cody's pet mosquito.
I actually had a pet mosquito once, by the way.
Nick, you're on. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Nick, you're on with Ron McGill, Nick.
You didn't even let me get to the punchline.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Nick. Hold on a second. Hold on.
I once had a pet mosquito once, but I had to give it up because I couldn't find a small enough leash.
Shokular. Cody, not understanding why Dan's pointed at him.
When it's Greg Cody's turn to ask a question, what I have done now for the better part of a year with Greg Cody joining us is I simply point at him when it's his turn so that we don't talk over each other.
Even though it's impolite to point, by the way.
This time, I pointed at Greg Cody, and his response was to turn around and try to see what it is that I was pointing at.
Shokular. Shokular. Donald Duck.
What's the celebrity that has webbed feet?
Webbed feet? I'm not sure. I know that it's long been rumored that Marilyn Monroe had 6 toes on one foot, as does Halle Berry.
That can't be true.
I know Donald Duck has webbed feet.
Oh, wow.
Is that a celebrity?
That's your worst joke.
That's a celebrity.
Shokular. No listening to Dan.
When I say to you, offensively, the most consistent thing that they have offensively is blank. Your answer would be what, Stugotz?
I guess inside game?
No.
I would have said low post defense.
Okay. Wow, you two. Unbelievable. I just asked you about offense. You went defense, Cody,
right.
And you went inside game on a guy who 4 times this postseason has scored 0 points. Like, who am I doing a show with?
Whoa.
I just asked you their single most consistent thing on offense.
It wasn't last night.
But at least I gave you something on offense.
Prior to last night.
Cody, I'm asking offense.
Oh, you're asking offense. I misunderstood. I wasn't listening. What was that?
You were looking right at him when he asked it. Yeah.
Shokular. Say her name.
Once upon a time, everyone at this radio station knew a woman who wasn't the brightest bulb in the chandelier. Why did everyone become uncomfortable in here? Why is everyone uncomfortable? Why?
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Just
I never said that.
Strange place you went to there.
Well, mention her name, first of all.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a great idea.
I'm going to say it right now.
There he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, there he is.
I intentionally muffled it so as not to get into a lawsuit.
Shokular. Shokular. Slugger and Polo Grounds.
Does anyone still refer to them as sluggers?
I do.
It's a great word.
Sluggers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It harks back to like the 50s and 60s, the heyday. It's great. Slugger.
How was that the heyday? And who says heyday?
I say heyday and slugger. I say hurly-burly. Mostly hurly, but some burly.
Why were the 50s and 60s the heyday?
The 60s are when I started following baseball.
Oh, so that's why.
So
okay.
It's the 60s and the 70s
right.
that were the hey days.
He's right about the 50s, man.
Oh, yeah, Ebbets Field.
You knock it off. You knock it off. It's one thing for you to instigate when you're in the studio and I can see your face, but you poke it in from Bristol like that, he's right about the 50s when you were born in the 70s.
Yep, 72.
Chavez Ravine.
You tell him, Greg. You tell him. Yeah.
Comiskey. That's all I got.
Polo Grounds?
Polo Grounds!
Ah!
Ralph Lauren's Polo Grounds.
I wish, Stugotz, that you were here so that you could... Ralph Lauren's Polo Grounds.
Shokular. Third nipple.
Here's the thing about a third nipple, and I've done a little research on this. If the third nipple is located anywhere on the body except where it's supposed to be, it's referred to as a wart. No, that's true. Medically. Look it up.
Shokular.
I'll look it up for you, Greg.
Please.
What are you going to look up?
Shokular. Tom Kohler.
That's a nickname that needs a nickname. Like, if I were meeting someone who was named the Big Salad, I would refer to him as Radicchio.
Show killer, Toronto rappers.
You know, that reminded me, we were talking about a bunch of hip-hop stars in the last segment. Not a lot of people know that all of the guys we mentioned, Ludacris, DJ Khaled, some others, they all play for the same team, the Toronto Rappers.
Show killer, Deng Fever.
Bosch, Wade, and Deng. That's a downsized big three, but that's still a pretty decent big three.
Yeah,
you can win with that big three.
We call him King Deng.
There you go. I have Deng fever, and it's not mosquito-borne.
Oh, God.
Show killer, Cody mentioned something was taped.
I don't know how to answer that.
Well, usually that's quick on your feet for radio.
Right. Well, that was a dramatic pause again.
That was taped, the dramatic pause that we did earlier. That wasn't on the air. That's something that we taped. So when you say
so
again...
I shouldn't have referred to it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because you've now revealed that something later in the show is taped.
Is that bad?
Yeah, we've never done that before in a decade on the show. That's
right?
Never happened before.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, this is taped, what we're doing right now.
Show killer. Show killer, Greg Cody, clarified butter.
And now we dine on Dungy's face. Where's your clarifying statement? Clarify! Backpedal! Backpedal while clarifying.
We'll have that meal with clarified butter. Thank you.
Oh.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Many to choose from. You can vote on Twitter. What was Greg Cody's top show-killing moment?
How'd we narrow that down?
I don't know how you narrow that down. So many to choose from. Vote at Lebatard Show on Twitter. Back after this.
Stay tuned.
An egregious omission, and we might need to have a write-in candidate on our Suey Awards. We debuted the Suey Awards with the Greg Cody Show Killer category. And many people are pointing out, you guys didn't even use the best of the show killer moments. We have 14 nominees. Guillermo, I don't know how you're going to update the poll here at Lebatard Show, but just, I guess, put other or just add this on the poll, because this moment, many people have pointed out, you guys missed the best of the show killer moments. Listen to this. The show killer, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow him, even though you don't, on Instagram.
Oh, I've got more than 12 followers. I got close to 20. By the way, my Instagram name is Upsetberg.
Let it sit!
Let what
Coaching's
sit?
laughing. Just back away and let the joke sit, Cody. Just shut up for 5 seconds and let it be funny before you come in and ruin it with something not funny. Let it sit. Just back away and let it sit. Just don't say anything. Shut the bleep up. Christ. He's fundamentally incapable. He just likes stacking bad jokes on top of each other.
I would definitely vote for that one. I have the early votes right now. Cody doesn't understand why Dan is pointing at him, is leading right now with 22% of the votes.
All right, Mike, how many categories do we have for our Sueys? How many categories? Because we're going to be doing this the rest of the week. We're going to be dropping these all over the place, these Suey categories. This had to be just an unending hell for Mike to go through with my father doing the voiceovers on all of these, because I didn't understand half. I've lived with him all my life. I've done the translations all my life, and I didn't understand half of what my father was saying in those clips.
I don't have an exact count for you. I want to say it's close to 10. It's somewhere in the 8 to 10 range.
All right, so we're going to do another one today? We're going to do another one?
Yes, if there's time.
All right, so Ed O'Bannon is going to drop there. He hasn't seen a movie since that Batman, but Jason Segel in that movie, while he's walking around naked, because a lot of people have seen it now in real life, says to people, your mother has seen me naked. Anyway, you guys got to get rid of that rejoin, because I feel the need. It's a good, quick rejoin, and I feel the need every time to explain it.
Just so I'm clear, my mom has never seen you naked?
No, correct. Okay. Correct. That's not what I'm saying there. Anyway.
My mom has.
Move.
He's already given us material for next year.
Right, he's already stocking the library for next year. The Sueys are our Oscars. Long story short, Luther Campbell, formerly of Two Live Crew, founder of Two Live Crew, one time was listening to a Kobe Bryant rap song. He said it was worse than garbage. It was worse than hot garbage. It was worse than sewage. It was suey. So the Sueys were then born, and now we've got an assortment of categories. You could vote at Batard Show on Best Show Killer Moment in honor of Greg Cote. Greg Cote invented the song on our show. He invented the sports song on our show. So in honor of that, put your arms down, Cote. In honor of that, this category.
And now, the Sue nominees for Best Musical Performance. Fake Scatman Jones, Heber is a trash can.
Rebound and then fall down. Rebound and then fall down. Jump up and then fall down. Jump up and then fall down. Lay up and then fall down. Lay up and then fall down. Stand up and then fall down. Stand up and then fall down. Gonna miss my shots within a foot. Within a foot. Gonna miss my shots within a foot. Within a foot.
Fake Pharrell's Papi song.
Because he's Papi. If you feel like his voice sounds like a spoof. Because he's Papi. If you feel like Papi just speaks the truth. Because he's Papi. If you know that Papi comes straight from Cuba. Because he's Papi. If you feel like you want Papi up in the booth.
Fake Run DMC's King Cobra.
LeBron eats pieces of Paul George for dinner. Choosing spit out the skeleton of Roy Hipper. Last Stevenson, the one on LeBron either. Believe David West for you, eat it, ether. The clash down, pal, Riley pass down. It's time nonsense to guarantee we'll advance rounds. No matter how many games, it'll be over quick. And you don't want a piece of the Cobra. For sure sick, LeBron is perfect. He misses triple doubles every night on purpose. You can't shut him down, the king with the crown, and everybody else is going down. You want the King Cobra.
Mike Ryan stabbed in your face.
You better have my stats where my internet connects. Load up! You get a regression to the mean, then a stat to the jack. I ain't a fan, I'm a whiz that I respect, little boy. If you want to shoot mid-range, I'll be critiquing. Effective field goal percentage coefficient. Call Terra Mori. Be ingrows. Bother at the scene, mean median mode. Get algorithms to encode. Sorry if you didn't know. Then I read Zach Lowe. Metrics. But the haters still troll. I love how much show. I love how much show.
Fake Bon Jovi's Blaze of Cody.
Show starts out okay. And things are going fine. They do some heat and dolphin talk. And Tim Kirchin's on the line. Then Greg Cote clears his throat. And he sits up in his chair. He makes an obscure reference, drops a bad one-liner, and a steroid question for Tim. The show's going down in a blaze of Cody. And there ain't nothing Mike Ryan can do. It's going down in a blaze of Cody. Cody never speaks first, but he'll get the last word on you.
Greg Cote being old.
Oops, there goes another rubber tree plant.
Fake Pavarotti's LeBron Masson.
His choice was ebony, masked his hairline. But then the powers that be changed the design. He donned transparency, avoiding fines. The phantom of the hardwood freaking played out all his mind.
Fake the Association's Richie.
Who's eating nails and poisonous cobras, intimidating guys on his team? Who stole my wife and broke my new glasses? Everyone knows it's Richie.
Mike Ryan's and Stugotz. What does the God say?
Damn goes, Bo goes, Tim goes, and Pat goes, Papi goes, Dan goes, and the Van Gandhi goes, look what Rank says, and Bill goes, and McGill goes, but there's one sound that no one knows. What does the guy say? Journey, Serve, Human, Bumpy, Unparalleled. What the God say? Miami, Creative, Stubborn, Open, Apple, Batard, having reacted of thoughts. What the God say? Sophistication, Southbring, Stadium, Exclamation, Humongous, Fred, a friend, family. What the God say?
Greg Cote and the Weisenheimer singing happy birthday to Stugotz.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Stugotz.
John Wiener.
Happy birthday.
Zero votes. Zero votes here. Please get 0 votes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
What was that? Dan.
I do mean you.
Ron McGill.
Hey, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. It's down the street, down on the street, there's a Heartbreak Hotel. Now, baby, now, baby, so lonely, baby, baby, so lonely. You make me so lonely, I could die.
Fake Little Drummer Boys, LeBron's son.
No.
They told him LeBron.
Come on.
A newborn came to see LeBron.
This is going to win.
Our finest gifts we bring LeBron.
Just to bother me.
To lay before the king, LeBron.
Stugotz covering Crystal Waters. Say if you feel
come
alright.
on, man.
Say if you feel all right. Nailed this. Come on, sing it with me. 2, 3, 4. Say if you feel all right. Say if you feel all right.
Mike Ryan celebrating Danny Granger.
We just got Danny Granger and everything is great.
Fake Berlins, take the ropes away.
Remembering that feeling as our season slips away. Before she grabs that rebound and he kicks it out to Ray. Watching in slow motion as he drains that corner tray. Take those ropes away.
Stugotz, Mike Ryan, and the Weisenheimer celebrating the Heat opening up cap space for Carmelo Anthony.
Mellow.
It's gotta be
Stan Van Gundy's Green Acres theme.
Green Acres is the place to be.
Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide.
Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
I got the whole song, man. I'm ready.
Keep going, Stan. Let's go. Break it down.
Go, Stan.
Get allergic smelling. Hey, I just enjoy a penthouse view. Harlan, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
Oh, man. Coach and president of the Detroit Pistons. That category was about 6 songs too fat. Loaded category. Get a band the next.
Hey, this is the
vote. This category is the best revelation made on the show in the last year. This is the category. Enjoy.
And now, the Sue nominees for the best revelation made on the show. Dan Lebatard's Penny Marshall revelation.
Penny Marshall, incidentally, my first crush.
Really?
I was very young.
I know, but I'm just surprised that it was Penny Marshall. I don't know.
Cliff Kingsbury's practices.
When we were at University of Houston, we brought an ice cream truck, but we filled it with some girls from, like, one of the clubs, like the Bottle Girls, and that was impressive. That was a good practice.
Wait a minute. What did you do? What, you filled an ice?
Like the bottle service, the cute bottle service girls. Because in Houston you can do that. You can't do that in Lubbock. There's no bottle service in Lubbock.
Mike Brown.
My wife dresses me, so she picks out my suits and ties and shoes, cufflinks, and all the way down to my watch. And I have no clue what to do. So she buys me some brand new shoes, which I hate. I hate brand new shoes. But I get some brand new shoes at one of the shoe stores, and they're hard shoes. And I got bunions, okay? Yes, I got bunions. I got them from my mom. Mom, I love you to death. But I got them from my mom. So I'm out there. I put these shoes on. My feet are killing me at halftime. I got a great suit on, a great tie. At halftime, I had to change into basically flip-flops and coach the second half in flip-flops. I was getting killed by my players. It's all because my left and right bunion were killing me.
Stitches.
Where did you go to school? Is that a secret?
No, I was out of school in 9th grade. I was in Braddock.
And so what happened? You just left school?
Oh, I punched the principal and I got kicked out.
Well, why'd you punch the principal?
I was doing my music thing even when I was young, too, and he actually told me, he's like, oh, you think you're going to be the next Lil Wayne, you're not going to be shit. So I stuck him in his face.
And that was it? That was the end of the educational experience for Stitches?
Yep, and then I was selling blow.
Stugotz and the E Street Band.
Easy Street Band?
Easy Street Band?
Yeah.
No.
I believe Stugotz has been calling Bruce Springsteen's band the Easy Street Band.
I think I have.
For a long time.
I actually think that I have. So embarrassed. It's like I've said it to friends. They don't call me out.
I feel like you would have said it backstage to Bruce himself if you could have ever gotten backstage. Hey, boss, big fan. Love the Easy Street. Underrated. Totally underrated. The Easy Street Band.
So it's E Street?
Stugotz top 5 rock bands.
Led Zeppelin, Creedence Clearwater, Rush, AC/DC, Rolling Stones, Leonard Skinner, The Who, Guns N' Roses, Talking Heads, Meatloaf, Bruce Springsteen, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, The Grateful Dead.
Wow, not a lot of color in your lineup there.
What do you mean?
Stugotz and the Faces of LeBron Living.
Last night, I remembered the first phase, and the first phase was that Instagram message that he gave to Dwayne Wade. No matter what happens after this, man, brothers for life. That was phase 1. Phase 2 and phase 3, I feel like it was the Johnny Manziel jersey, and phase 4 is...
Wait a minute, what'd you just do there?
How is this revealing?
I combine phases because I can't remember one.
I'm on to you.
It's just God's being a dope.
Look at that's the way that Stugotz works, reaching back deep into the past a couple of days ago to find phase 2 and 3, which is actually one phase.
Yeah. Maybe phase 2 was Manziel. Phase 3 was Calipari saying he wants to coach in Cleveland because he'd like to coach LeBron James. And phase 4 is Kyrie Irving saying, being excited about last night's #1 overall pick, even though he's a free agent. I
feel like you're just making up phase 4 right now. That phase 4 just made an appearance right now, and you totally made it up.
I did.
Zach Randolph's All Dark Alley team.
Tony Allen, for sure. James Johnson. I say Kendrick Perkins. DeAndre Jordan.
And how about, is Udonis Haslem on that list?
Oh, yeah, UD can be on that list, too. Forgot about UD.
Dance Crime Revelation.
I've got an embarrassing crying in a movie theater story. Do you have one, Stan? Do you have a moment that you can recall where a movie got you? And it really, a lot of it depends. It doesn't always have to do with what's happening on the screen. A lot of times it has to do with what's going on in your life. Right. Although I'm going to have a hard time explaining what the hell was going on in my life once I reveal to you the movie that made a tear well in my eye and just made me really self-evaluate, like, what the hell was going on with me? It didn't even make any sense to me.
Well, go ahead. We can't wait on this one now.
Ratatouille. What? I don't even know what the hell happened. It cartoon, and I don't even remember what happened, but it was very strange. Something bad was happening to one of the characters.
Stugotz Mark Grace revelation.
I'm going to tell you a story here, Dan. I hooked up one time with Mark Grace's girlfriend at the time. And my friends, I'm serious here, I slept with Mark Grace's girlfriend.
You just said that, Stugotz. We heard you the first time that you said it.
Now, he had several girlfriends at the time. That I'm convinced of, okay? And it's probably why she slept with me to get back at him, okay? So I'm just telling you, I got a bunch of. Once I revealed that news to my boys, I got nonstop for like a week. I got that-a-boy, 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 that-a-boy. I told my dad he gave me a that-a-boy.
Stephen A. Smith confrontation with Glenn Robinson.
Glenn Big Dog Robinson was playing for the Philadelphia 76ers. Larry Brown had just left. He was coaching the Detroit Pistons, and Randy Ayers was in his first year as the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers and had gotten fired after 52 games, I believe. And I went on the air going off because Glenn Robinson was so flagrantly disrespectful to him as a head coach. I called Glenn Robinson out. He sees me in Denver a couple of days later and sits there and gets in my face, calls me a punk, MFing me and all of this other stuff and talking about who the hell do you think you are? You're a punk, no good, MFer, and all of this other stuff. And I sat there and I listened to him as he got in my face. And I said to him, I want to thank you because finally we feel exactly the same about each other because that's exactly what I think about you. And I called him every name that he called me, and I said, you ain't going to do anything. You're a punk. You've been a punk. You're going to stay a punk. That's who you are. And I think you ain't going to do anything to me. And then he said to me, you don't know where I'm from. He said, boy, I'm from Gary, Indiana. I said, man, so is Michael Jackson. Shut up. And he said, don't talk to me. I said, didn't they tell you? I said, I don't have to talk to you to talk about you. And then the players in the locker room all looked at him and said, I told you Stephen A. was crazy.
Michael Lewis and the nuclear football.
I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but I'll say it on the air. It was funny. The guy with the nuclear football and I were in a room together kind of waiting for him. And the guy with the football kind of had to go take a leak or something. He left. And the football was there for a minute.
No. Come on.
Oh, my God. He dropped the ball. I could pick up the nuclear football and run.
Jim Boeheim.
I have one phone, no computer, no text, no emails. I'm back in this. I'm slowly coming out of the Stone Age. I can text. I recently learned that in the last few months.
Jim, you're in a young man's game. Like, what are you doing?
I told the recruits, I said, if I have to text, if I have to email and Twitter to get you, then you're not coming here. And we've had our best 2 recruiting years the last 2 years after I told them that.
Greg Cody.
Can I ask you a personal question? Yeah. The last time you had sex when it wasn't night.
Whoa.
You know what? I used to be a morning man. I'm going to say, the marriage goes through rhythms and, the different phases and everything, and I very much used to be a morning man, as a matter of fact.
Dan's Bernie Bickerstaff revelation.
Yesterday, I'm watching a press conference, and my honest reaction to it, I can't believe I'm saying that. My honest reaction was, wait a minute, Bernie Bickerstaff is black?
Alan Thicke.
Has Alan Thicke ever, while making love, played one of his son's songs?
I count on it. Are you kidding? It's the most perverse thing that I do. I mean, usually, when you're having your moment with your wife and you hear your kid's voice, you lock the door immediately and jump under the bed. But in Robin's case, no, he just helps the whole performance, I think.
Al Golden.
Did Al Golden just tell us that he lifted with Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, we used to work out. We used to work at the same place. It was called the Here Institute in Red Bank, New Jersey, and I'd be in there after school, and sometimes there'd only be a couple of guys in there, and he'd come down and ask for a spot. I mean, he was a real...
I was going to ask if he spotted you.
You spotted Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, Clarence Clemens and Max and Julianne. I mean, they were all in there. They were all in there.
I don't know who I'd vote for there. We've got to gather ourselves.
You say I'm from Gary, and I say so was Michael Jackson.
If
he came up with that on the fly,
Like, that's, I mean, if
I think that's a story that's been told before and retold and perfected.
If you came up with that on the fly, you must have left the house planning on that one, because you tell me I'm from Gary, my response is, good point.
There also weren't many revelations there.
Well, there were revelations. There were just a handful of Stugotz moments that clearly weren't any kind of revelations. It should be another category. Stugotz is a dope or Stugotz being a dope, but I'm sure that's coming. Actually, it is coming later in the show with Stugotz dismissals as a SUI category. Worst category we have is also the shortest category that we have. This is the worst category. You could vote. Twitter, at Batard Show. This is our worst category, but it's also our shortest category. So here you go.
And now the SUI nominees for Best Laugh. Bruce Bowen. Al Jefferson. Ja Rule. Jeff Van Gundy. Cliff Kingsbury. Stitches. Zach Randolph. Justin Tuck. Hope Solo. Tom Thibodeau, the Butcher. Stugotz.
A-Rod versus Usain Bolt. Who you got? Who you got? A-Rod versus Usain Bolt. Pick one.
Bolt.
Here are a bunch of Stugotz dismissals. This is also a SUI category. Stugotz is great at dismissing people. Here's how he does it.
And now, the SUI nominees for Best Stugotz Dismissal. Stu dismisses Derek Fisher.
Why did you tell Derek Fisher to shut up? Why during the break, this guy?
I mean, this guy. Like, he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, and it's so emotional, and he doesn't know what to choose. Let me tell you Derek Fisher's options. He could be the head coach for the New York Knicks with no coaching experience. He could be the head coach of the L.A. Lakers with no coaching experience, two of the top 5 franchises in the NBA, and his fallback, just in case he doesn't want to do either of those, is to, play another year of basketball with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Like, wow on Derek Fisher. He's making such a big deal about, God, the emotion, the choices. I got Kobe tugging on me on the West Coast. I got Phil tugging on me on the East Coast. I got KD and Westbrook saying I'm like a big brother to them and they want me to come back. Oh, the emotion. How will I make this such a difficult choice? Get over it. Honestly. Like, does he not realize he's speaking to a whole bunch of people? Like, you want real problems and real decisions? They're figuring out how to pay their bills every month. This is the burden of Derek Fisher?
Stu dismisses the Pacers.
I went into that game thinking the Pacers were lousy, and I left that game thinking they're worse than lousy, if that's possible. That was not impressive, and we're giving them way too much credit. Wow. They beat the Heat on their home court without LeBron James. Way to go, and it took a miracle to do so.
Stu dismisses Paul O'Neill being honored by the Yankees.
I am outraged at over the fact that Paul O'Neill is getting a plaque in Monument Park, Yankee Stadium, right next to Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Yes, he does.
Outrage.
Paul O'Neill is a good player. He's not Babe Ruth. He's not Mickey Mantle. He's not Lou Gehrig, and he doesn't deserve a plaque.
Outraged, Stugotz.
I mean, I'm not really
What a
outraged.
ridiculous thing to be outraged about.
Paul O'Neill, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. Who doesn't belong, Dan?
Okay, yeah. Yes, agreed.
Cool.
And Tim, I got
Mantle,
you.
DiMaggio, and Tino Martinez. Who doesn't belong,
Okay,
Dan?
settle down.
Stu dismisses Tim Duncan and a San Antonio billboard.
Who put up this billboard in San Antonio, built not bought? Who put up this billboard? Who was that?
I have no idea. I just don't like the whole attitude that San Antonio, from Duncan on down, the chirping, the trash talking, built not bought.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I mean, Duncan needs to zip it up.
Wait a minute.
Duncan.
Chirping and trash talking. Yeah. Tim Duncan was asked a question in the emotion of eliminating the 2 best players in his conference.
Yeah. And this whole billboard, I mean, I would like to know who's responsible for that billboard. Built versus bought. Get out of here. They didn't buy any players? Really? They've never bought a player?
Oh, wait a minute. The Spurs are built, not bought.
No, the Spurs are lucky because they won the lottery as David Robinson's career was winding down, and then they got Tim Duncan.
That helped, and they've had Tim Duncan.
So how about lucky versus bought? How's that sound?
Stu dismisses college baseball.
A texter sent something in that you were objecting to, a nominee for most crushed anyone has felt in South Florida with a result?
Yeah, Warren Morris walk-off home run. Honestly, you can drag college baseball into the discussion. No. Don't point at me and try to defend this guy.
That's not a bad one.
We're talking about NBA titles. We're talking about the Heat. We're talking about the Canes. We're talking about college football championships here. We're not talking about college baseball.
All right, well, keep in mind there are a couple of things here that are interesting about that. Do you know the scenario?
Yeah, I know it. It's college baseball. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You want to explain it? Go ahead. But it's college baseball.
I'm going to. I'm going to explain.
Did this happen in Omaha? Is that where this happens?
Yeah, that's where the College Baseball World Series is played.
Okay. Well, generally, people don't care about anything that happens in Omaha.
Stu dismisses people criticizing the idea of the Heat getting Carmelo.
That'd be even better for me. Carmelo coming down here. Great for me. Terrible for the league. Terrible, because every other market's going to look at it and be like, you got to be kidding me. That's not fair. We don't have a chance. And you can't do that to every other market and have something that's sustainable in your sport when you're going to do it to every market.
Well, maybe every other market and every other team should get a guy like Pat Riley. You could put something like this together. How about that?
Okay.
Instead of complaining and about it, how about you go get a guy like Riley and create your own Big Four? How about that?
There it is.
Stu dismisses Paul George during the Eastern Conference Finals.
Another texter writes in, I got hit in the front of my head with a foul ball and I didn't black out. George must have a soft head. Heat in 5.
Yeah. Soft head. Hey, that guy, Paul George. Whew. What a lousy game he had last night.
Did he make that long three after he was concussed?
I think that was post-knee to the head from Dwayne Wade. I think it was. It was one of the 4 shots the All-Star hit last night.
What did you just do there?
I called him an All-Star and pointed out that the All-Star in a big game last night at home on his home court hit 4 shots. The All-Star. Who really is the furthest thing from an All-Star. I mean, he's not.
Oh, really? There we go. Here we go.
He borders on average at times, to be honest with you.
The furthest thing from an All-Star.
Yeah.
Stu dismisses Arnie Spangler.
Arnie Spangler said last night on Fox Radio that the Heat are done. The series is over. LeBron is finished.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, Arnie. Who's Arnie Spangler? How many Heat games has he watched? Is he covering the team? He said that out there in L.A. Arnie Spangler? I mean, the Heat have lost 4 times since LeBron has come in. They have lost game 1 4 times, and all 4 times, does Arnie know what happened? They went on to win the series. Arnie Spangler. Arnie. Like, I'm a radio junkie. I really am. I'm a radio nerd. I'm a sports radio junkie. If I've never heard of you, you're no one. Spangler.
Okay. An amazing thing happened. An amazing thing happened during the break. Stephen A. Smith will join us at 3:30. Roy, you're going to love this story.
You know who's never going to join us? Arnie Spangler.
Unbelievable torching of Arnie Spangler, who, by the way, likes to watch himself make love.
Don Batard.
Yeah, it's bothersome to me that you guys infantilize. Is that how you pronounce the word? Infantilize? How do you pronounce the word? Turn these players into infants. I know I'm looking at the wrong person.
What? Stugotz.
Infantilize.
Thank you.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Some of this, but here it is, the best story told on the show over the last year.
And now, the Sue nominees for Best Story Told on the Show. Bob Vulgaris.
Antoine showed up with like an Armani bag or some one of those designer bags, and he had it underneath his table, and he was playing for a little while, and I got a glimpse of the fact that inside the bag was just piles and piles of U.S. currency. So I saw this guy. I was like, wow, this guy showed up to the Bellagio with cash, and he wants to play poker. And he came, and he got a phone call, and he left. So he lost a very small amount the first day. So the second day he came back and he sat down and the game filled up very quickly and I wanted to get in the game. And so I had to actually bribe someone. I had to pay, I think, $10,000 or $15,000 to actually get a seat from someone because I didn't want to have to wait. And nobody knew how much money he could lose or what was going on or how bad he played or how good he played. But I kind of saw the bag, and people usually don't show up with a bag full of cash unless they want to lose
the bag
in Vegas.
You wanted the bag.
I'm sorry?
You wanted the bag.
I did, yeah. So I sat down and played with him for, I think he played for 14 hours or something like that. And every time he would lose, he run very few pots, but every time he would lose all his money in front of him, he would just reach down and pull out more cash, 50,000 at a time or 100,000 at a time, I don't know, 30,000 at a time. And I remember everyone at the table were like looking at each other, like, do you think there's any, kind of texting each other, is there any more money in the bag? How many times can you keep on going down there? So he lost a lot of money, and then he just got up and shook everyone's hand and left. So that was the Antoine Walker story. He was actually really polite and cool, but a very terrible poker player. Very, very bad.
Not surprising, yes.
Chipper Jones.
I was a rookie, and I walked into the shower, and Doggy's in there. And, the community showers, there's probably 8 or 10 showers in there. And I walk in, and Doggy's like, adamant, like, come over here. I got to ask you something. That double that you hit in the gap, as a hitter, what were you thinking? And I was like, well, he got me out on, change-ups away, early in the game, and I picked a pitch in a situation to sit on that change-up and took it, up the gap in left center, and I looked down, and he's peeing on my foot.
No!
The whole time we're sitting there talking, he's literally urinating on my feet, and I almost broke him in half.
No!
Butt naked in the middle of that shower.
No! He didn't even care what you were saying, and
Yes.
he didn't care about his question. It was all to lure you into his urination trap.
Yes, he got me all kind of locked in on, something good that I did during the game, and just took it upon himself to urinate. But
How often would he do that?
He'd do it to most of the rookies, quite often.
Dan Lebatard.
I have a friend. He was very early on. This is great. This is a great, awful story. He was dating someone, and it was early in the dating process. And this one's going to be hard no matter where you are in the dating process. This one's going to be hard even if you've been married for many years. It's early in the dating process. She has to go to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom. Bathroom overflows with debris.
Ooh.
She's quietly trying to clean it up. He walks up the stairs and sees her on her hands and knees. They meet eyes, and she immediately begins sobbing. Because of course. Because of course.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course she's going to begin sobbing. And I would have begun sobbing. In either scenario, even if I'd been walking up there, in either scenario, I would have just started sobbing.
I would have looked up and been like, what? Happens.
You would have been. You would have so been, yeah. You would have just started a chatty conversation. You just would have said, if nothing was happening. Want to see a movie later?
Hey, champ.
Got poop in my hand.
I'll clean it up. Don't worry about it.
The Morris twins.
We had a little scuffle out in Kansas together. We was back to back.
So wait a minute. What was that? What was happening there? You sized up. You went back to back, and both of you had your fists up. Who were you fighting against?
Couple football players, couple 300-pounders. We stood our ground.
So you're back to back with some football players.
Right.
How'd that go?
It went better than we thought it was.
Hold on, what did they do to make you get into a fight that you didn't think was going to go very well in the first place?
You're the talker, Marcus.
It was just
He's the
so
muscle.
many. It was so many.
How many?
And it's like it was about like a 20-on-5.
Whoa.
But, there's like 300 pounds. 6'5", 300. So it's really like 30-on-5.
Hold on, what was her name? This had to start over her. What was her name?
You said what was her name?
Yeah, what was her name? What was her name?
Yeah.
Oh man, I just know she ran track. I just know she ran track. That's all
It's
I know.
always the one that runs track.
Mike Tyson.
Is it true that you pulled up one time to the Robin Givens driveway and Brad Pitt was there?
Normally, me and Robin was going through our divorce. Even though we were going through our divorce, we would have sex every day and stuff, and every night after we had our deposition, after I said, you're a cheating pig, and she might have said, you're a husband that beats his wife and do all that stuff. We're talking horrible about one another, but every night we're sleeping with each other, right? So I said, before I go to my lawyer and tell him how much these people robbed me and they're horrible, I'm going to go by and I'm going to have sex with my ex-wife. So as I go by, I ring the doorbell, nobody's there, and as I get ready to leave, I see somebody driving up, and it's dumb.
Mike, I mean, he had to crap his pants.
Who the heck Brad Pitt think he is? People's wives. His wives.
You tell him, champ. That's right.
Ashley Judd.
Will there be a celebrity call that you make or you get that is meant to share something like that?
Well, I will probably do a little bit of discreet dissing and poking at some of the staff at the White House, because they tend to have some Duke fans up there.
Wow. Really? How
Those
high
are the kind of people around who I do some posturing. Actually, the first time I had a conversation with our president, he said something about my team having an off year, and I'm like, excuse me, your school's off year is my school's national championship. And he walked away, and I thought, no, wait a minute, you're supposed to let the man talk.
Jeff Perlman.
One of the guys I called was a guy named Frank Brakowski, and he was the guy who really opened up about Magic's parties and what life was like in L.A., and he actually told me early on in his time with the Lakers, he had to go up into the front office to get some paper signed. And he walks in the front office, and he doesn't quite know where he's going, and he opens a door. He opens a door, and just, like, completely randomly, for no, like, reason, Mike Tyson is having sex with one of the secretaries on the desk, and literally turns to Frank Brakowski, like, mid-sex, and says, excuse me, just give me a minute here. And, like, literally, Frank Bukowski walks out the door of Mike Tyson having sex in the Laker office with the secretary.
Other category, best fake.
And now, the Sui nominees for best fake. Fake Jason Jackson.
It's not limited, baby. It is time. 7:90 The Ticket, playoff edition, talking Obama, Dan Batard and Stugotz of the crusty one himself, the oracle, the inventor of the two-handed chess pass, the man who was once engaged to B. Arthur, Mr. Greg Cote. Stugotz, I saw you this morning on First Take. Congratulations, Stu. You looked about as comfortable as Don Sterling on stage at the Apollo. This segment brought to you by Atlantico Rum. Atlantico Rum. Paul Pierce will be drinking it, and it's a good thing that Jay-Z wasn't. That's it for me. I'm going to say Jason Jackson, Double J, or just Jay Jackson, you're nasty. Back to you, Ergatoni.
Cote's fake Johnny Carson.
I did not know that.
But you know that because it's there every week.
I'm sorry.
Was that a Johnny Carson impression?
Yes, it was.
I did not know that. That is weird, wild stuff.
It's a terrible Dana Carvey impersonation of Johnny Carson. Both of those impersonations dated and musty by about 20 years.
That is wild.
Mike Ryan's fake Michael Irvin. Mike Ryan's fake Mark Jackson.
The limited fake Mark Jackson.
Mama, there goes that job.
Fake Matthew McConaughey.
Marty, this town, it's like a memory. And the memory is fading. It's just a jungle. A gutter out there in outer space. Boris Diaw does terrible things with impunity. Finals are a flat circle. That means everything that's happened will happen over and over and over again, Marty. And that little boy and that little girl are in that room watching Game 4.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. Game 4 wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Come on. Don't compare it to that.
And again. Just let go, Dan.
All right.
Once you let go, you'll realize, why was I holding on so tight?
All right.
Mark Stein's fake Dan Le Batard.
Tell me who are the Cavs signing? Is Sean Marion maybe going to end up there?
Fake Himalaya operator.
Yeah, Himalaya, the European speed sensation. Yeah, let's kick it in the gas, give it a blast. Himalaya super fast. Yeah, we got more in store coming through that back door. Yeah, you girls better hold on to your poise. And you boys, you better hold on to your toys. Himalaya, here we go.
Fake Stan Van Gundy laugh. Mike Ryan's fake George St. Pierre.
No one is faster than a bullet, my friend.
Fake Herm Edwards.
Dan, Stugotz, pleasantries, don't say them. They don't like him. You get suey. Let's talk about Ryan Tannehill, quarterback. He look good. Not as good as Mrs. Tannehill. Look good. Stugotz, doing a great job on the updates. One day, boy, you're going to be first team, fiddle faddle, cotton candy, elephant ears.
Fake that night.
Mike Ryan stuffed a lot of himself in that category.
Yeah, he did. We didn't even get the fake Gruden in there, did we?
Let me tell you, man. I'm not a fan of those nominees.
How did fake Gruden not make it?
I don't know. I'm going to talk to somebody.
How did limited fake John Gruden not make it in there saying Tony Gonzalez? That's the only player you can do, right? That's the only player?
And Tannehill.
Okay, because it's hard. It's hard when you need Hispanics to be replete in the NFL for your impersonation.
Twice, I think, if you're honest.
All right, we had to outsource the voicing on this. We're not using my father on this because one of the things that makes it funny is the word correctly pronounced. And if we use my father, we're likely to get a botchery worse than the one that Stugotz committed to the English language. So we had to outsource the voicing on this. Here it is. This is our best picture category. This is the best of the suies. These are Stugotz Mispronunciations.
And now, the SUI nominees for Best Stugotz Mispronunciation. Guys.
Guys.
Insurance.
Sure.
Surprised. Google. Biggest. Origins.
The origins of
Delivery Boy. Hotline.
Hotline.
Clear.
Clear.
Marital advice.
Marital advice.
Synonym. Turkey leg.
Turkey leg.
Referral. Blueprint. Long ago. Bluetooth.
The Bluetooth.
Honeymoons. Hysteria. Rodriguez. Talented. Withdrawal. What do you mean, thank you?
What are they?
Lozenges. Preliminary. Quote. Press conference. Wild card.
The wild card.
Kyle. Auburn. Analysis. Impossible. Eastern. Text club.
Text club, excuse me.
Customer appreciation.
Customer appreciation month.
Well. Embrace.
Embulsure.
Mariano Rivera.
Mario Rivera.
Red. Ken Pomeroy.
Ken Pomeroy will finish out the show with us.
Stugotz.
I'm Stugotz.
Adrian Wojnarowski. Organization. Applauding. Applauding again.
Man, that category is loaded.
I'm trying to figure out how I got well wrong.
How'd you get Stugotz wrong?
I'm not so concerned about that. Well?
I listened to that, and I just want to study you now.
It's in the incubator.
Yeah, but we drive by it whenever we go to Villa Rose Pizzeria on State Road 7 in Hollywood. Great joint. We drive by our old homestead on the way home, where lays the concrete slab my dad fashioned into a small basketball court. My initials in the corner of it, GC.
Wow, that's a book that nobody wants to read.
No, I got to tell you, I think I want to read this book.
I disagree.
Yeah.
In that corner bedroom, we played Stratomatic.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, should have been dating girls, and instead we were playing Stratomatic as a teen. Sad.
You and Dick Cody?
He was in the Army at the time.
So who were you playing
Stationed
Stratomatic
in
with?
Japan.
Your friends?
Oh, I played by myself.
Because you said we were playing Stratomatic.
Well, it's the Imperial we.
So you were a lonely child.
I know I was not lonely. I was a kid who was always amused by his own company, quite frankly.
He had a friend that was like 12 years older than him that would play with him.
That's true.
Oh, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
Yeah, Paul Ratke.
No, Paul.
Oh, Ratke.
Oh, no, Paul.
What?
Friend 12-year-old. I mean,
12 years older.
Hey, look.
Put it up on the poll
Were you
at
12 and he
Levitard
was
Show.
24?
I was
A little bit
probably
weird, Greg.
I was probably 12 or 14.
Wow.
Oh, this is
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
man.
No,
Wait, hold on. He's a friend, not a babysitter. He's a friend. You had
No.
a friend who was 24
Yeah,
when you were 12?
Look, he was a neighbor. We were both into Stratomatic. I don't know if anybody out there knows Stratomatic baseball, but if
love
you're
it.
into it or if you were into it, it's like a cult. You were either into it or you weren't. So when I found out, mutually, we found out that we both loved Stratomatic baseball, we got together and played games. Roll that dice, baby.
Those were the only games you played, right?
You
Tell
and
me.
You sure that's
friend-
the only thing you loved was Stratomatic?
You and your older friend, your older gentle friend.
You guys are creepy.
With a mustache. At Levitard Show, put it up. 12-year-old having a friend 12 years older, and just don't put any other options other than creepy. Just don't put creepy, not creepy, just creepy.
My daughters are 12 years old right now. Can you imagine if I came home from school one day and they're hanging out with a 24-year-old friend in the house? Oh, that is weird, Greg.
What if
Sorry.
it was a female friend?
Well, I'm assuming that that's what he's saying. It is.
Yes.
Why is that weird?
It's strange.
Well, you can't allow it if it's
What
a
does
male
a 24-year-old
friend.
have in common with a
You
12-year-old?
cannot allow. Yes or no? You cannot allow. If you have a 12-year-old daughter, you cannot allow your 12-year-old daughter to have a 24-year-old male friend.
Call the cops.
You can't allow that.
Hey, Dad, this is my friend. His name is Randy. He's a father of 4.
You can't allow that.
Okay, but to use your analogy, if your daughters had a female friend who was 12 years older, but they had a common interest that would be akin to Paul Ratke and I playing Stratomatic baseball, then what would be wrong with that?
Craig, you don't find anything weird about this?
Yeah, just the fact that a 24-year-old's hanging out with a 12-year-old. Like, they have an older friend, but their older friend is their babysitter.
Yeah, I'm going to run this name through a database.
People have told me it's weird. You guys aren't the first ones who have told me that, but
because it's weird.
It just explains a lot.
Like what?
I mean, like where bad ideas like 1440, the history of an American house, come from. Like, because, I'm guessing that bad things happened to you as a child that you may or may not remember, that you repressed, that now manifest in bad ideas. Bad ideas.
Bad book ideas.
Bad ideas, bad judgment, bad jokes. That you're scarred, that you're clearly scarred.
So if you were 12 years older than you, that means, is he still with us?
I have no idea. They moved out of the hood decades ago.
After you guys broke.
Excuse me, sir. Why don't you come on back over on this side, please? And bring your bag with you, if you would. Have a seat right over there. What's going on? Just set that right on that counter. What you got in the bag?
Villa Rose Pizzeria on State Road 7 in Hollywood. Great joint.
I think I'm in trouble. You're not sure you think you're in trouble? Yeah. What's your name?
Paul Ratke.
I'm sorry?
What if it was a female friend?
Papi, who is your favorite NFL player? Who is the guy in the league that you like more than any other guy?
Oh, Kiko. Kiko is my man.
Oh, tell the people why. Tell the people, because you hate the Dolphins.
Huh?
You hate the Dolphins.
I hate the Dolphins, but
Right.
since Kiko joined the Dolphins, I'm rooting for the Dolphins.
What have you been doing around here all the time?
I have been pushing for Kiko. I say, Kiko is the man that is going to get the Dolphins over the top.
Didn't you
Did you
wanna-
watch that game yesterday? He was a star
That's
from
right.
beginning to end. Kiko,
Yes.
Kiko,
Yes,
Kiko,
yes,
Kiko,
yes.
Kiko,
Hold on,
Kiko.
Papi. We got a surprise for you,
What?
Papi. We got a surprise for you here. Hold on a second. Hello? Are you there?
Hello.
Hello, Papi. It's Kiko Alonso right there, Papi.
Nah, that's
Dímelo,
not
papi.
Dímelo,
Kiko.
papi. Kiko! ¡Papi!
Kiko, ¿cómo estás, Kiko?
Todo bien, dímelo, ¿qué pasa?
Óyeme, ¿te gusta el arroz con frijoles?
Claro, mira.
Eso es lo que te hace a ti ser un jugador bueno, mucho arroz con frijoles.
Really? Okay.
Claro.
Rice and beans are the reason Kiko Alonso is a good
Maduro.
football player. Oh, and also some bananas.
Y picadillo, don't forget el
also,
picadillo.
yeah, some beef.
Picadillo.
Some beef, yes.
So what's going on, Kiko?
Nada, tranquilo, tranquilo.
¿Cómo está la familia? Everybody good?
Sí, todo bien, todo bien.
All right. That's it. All right. The conversation has run its course. That's okay.
Didn't Papi want a statue of Kiko built in Hialeah?
I think he voted for Kiko for the Heisman Trophy, didn't you?
I voted for Kiko for the Heisman. I wanted the statue of Kiko right next to Shula Marino. I wanted the Marino way changed to the Kiko Alonso Kiko way. The whole ball of wax, you know. First Latino player since 1972 that is playing for the Dolphins.
That's right.
That's right, buddy. First one. I'm rooting for you, Kiko. I want to see you in the Super Bowl.
Muchas gracias.
All right, Kiko. Kiko. Thank you for being on with us, Kiko. We appreciate it.
Take
No
care,
problem.
Kiko. Nice meeting you.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Glorious, man.
Totally sincere. That was not staged. We did not tell my father what it is that we were going to do there.
You didn't believe it?
He was legitimately starstruck. He was so happy. Get out of here.
That's not Kiko.
That can be Kiko. That's also the single most Hispanic moment in the history of ESPN radio. We were speaking a different language there for a while. And then you saw my father's move of how's the family. It's my father's conversational move. He doesn't know who Kiko Alonso's family is. Just open-ended that anyone can really answer unless they've recently died in some sort of tragic, awful accident.
He asked me that same question every single
Every day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
No one by name, just how's the family.
He doesn't know anybody by name.
I'm aware.
I think you should start asking my father questions to see how he tries to slip away from not knowing.
Okay.
Like, I think we should do that on air one day. You should ask my father, okay, and who's in my family? Well, your wife, the kids. That's where it would end.
He gets Abby. In his defense, he always says it's Abby and the kids.
All right.
Yes, he does get Abby.
Right, that's pretty good.
Yes, he does get Abby.
All right, let's go to ESPN's Fats and Info back there. Take us through this inning in the World Series where Braden Looper was brought in. Go ahead and set up the inning. What is the situation?
This was Game 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Yankees were winning 2-1 in the series.
Oof.
Oh, man. Top of the 11th.
Oh.
Must win. Bases loaded.
Oh, wait a minute. How'd the bases get loaded? Take me through the whole inning.
Bernie Williams double to right field. Hideki Matsui walks, so first and second. A bunt ground, a sacrifice bunt. So second and third, and then we walked Juan Rivera, I believe. Jay Rivera.
Yeah.
I think Juan Rivera.
Yeah.
So
Juan
bases
Rivera.
loaded.
What, J. Rivera?
J. Rivera.
Okay, J. Rivera walks.
Yeah, he was a good pinch hitter. Yeah.
So bases loaded now.
Yeah.
We give the old tap of the right wrist.
Who are we
Braden
taking
Looper.
out? Who are we taking out?
Replaces.
No way.
Oh, Chad Fox.
Oh,
Chad Fox.
Wow. Foxy, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
One time he struggled. Yeah, bad game for him.
Aaron Boone steps to the plate.
Get him. Big
it's clutch.
He hauled 3.
What?
Yeah.
Struck him out.
Oh.
Sean Looper struck him out.
Wow.
And now we have John Flaherty up, I believe.
How many outs?
2 outs now.
2 outs now.
Nice.
Pop fly to Mikey Lowell.
Yeah. Can of corn.
And then what? They won it in the bottom of the inning?
Yeah, no. And then the bottom of the 11th, we went 1, 2, 3, and then he pitched the 12th.
Oh, God, dear God.
Wow.
What happened to the 12th?
Alfonso Soriano steps up.
Yeah.
Ground out to first.
Oh, wow. Big out. He was good.
Now up.
Yeah.
Future Hall of Famer Derek Jeter. Pop fly to second.
Wow, Looper not allowing anything out of the infield.
Well, now Jason Giambi came up and got a line drive single to right.
Get him out. Seeing eye single.
Pull him.
Bernie Williams, ground out to second.
Oh!
And we all know what happened in the bottom of the 12th. Alice Gonzalez, first at bat.
Yes. Yes.
I was there.
I was there. What kind of
I was there too.
I was there too. I was there.
I was watching on TV.
Yeah.
I was watching on TV.
I got a World Series ring.
That was 97.
Yeah, that's right.
You were not there, Stugotz.
Right. No, I was there. I was there.
Stugotz. Stugotz, you were not there.
I wasn't there for that one.
Stugotz.
That great sequence and all, his ERA that series was close to 10. Doesn't matter. Did it when it counted.
I'm out today online at betdania.com. I'm Stugotz. Oh, my God.
Really? Your name. Your name.
I can't even explain to you what happened.
Really? Your name
Yeah, I can't
is
even explain what happened.
Please freeze that. Find that. Cut it immediately. We're going to spend the rest of the show playing it.
Yeah, please do. I'm Stugotz. Keep it locked to the ticket for the latest on Dolphins Trading
That's
Camp.
the greatest mispronunciation in the history of this show. It's unbelievable that CSB spokesman and professional broadcaster Stugotz just did that on his name.
Yeah. Well, there's a new liner here to close out. I'm cranking up the excuse machine. I suck.
That was amazing.
It was.
Don't go anywhere, all right? That's Stugotz having trouble with his name.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We will have that sound for you in about 10 minutes. It takes them a minute to cut it up and find it.
I'm not even going to tell this story because there is no excuse. Zero
No,
excuse.
you want to make excuses.
No, I do, but there's zero excuse for mispronouncing your own name. There is no excuse. I was about to tell the story, but there's no excuse. Other than I'm awful at this.
Texter writes in, A-Rod also could not be facing a lifetime ban.
That's not sexy, though. When you deliver an update, Dan, there are a couple things you have to do. You have to deliver the sexiness and mispronounce a couple of words, specifically your name.
Right. Get your name wrong.
Yes.
Can someone tell me who's the greatest example of lesson not learned? Because that's kind of amazing. Like Anthony Weiner, that's amazing that he would be again in the same exact scandal. Like you'd think if anybody would learn, it's an easy thing to learn once you've had national shame.
Yeah, so you're going Anthony Weiner. I go Ryan Braun.
No, I would go Weiner.
Well, but can you guys... All right, you guys, thank you for giving me the two guys that I just gave you in this segment. Can we have perspective reach back a little bit deeper than the thing we were just talking about 2 sentences
No, all
ago?
the shames happened in the last day.
A-Rod, Dan.
You guys, unbelievable, you guys. And I'm just being peppered with $10,000 bill facts by the texter.
I got that one wrong.
Yeah. Am I exonerated?
You know what else you got wrong, Stugotz? Let me show you something else you got wrong earlier in the show. It's called your name.
Mom That's a tough one. I mean,
it is.
I'm gonna have trouble sleeping
To
tonight.
be fair, that is a tongue twister.
Mom oh my God. I'm going to be scarred for a while, man.
Professional broadcaster.
Mom oh my God.
He was kind of the dad of our show, too. The cool dad. We loved talking to him. And super talented guy. Wrote the theme song to Different Strokes, to Facts of Life. And so we miss him. And so he's dead at the age of 69. We were talking about in the local hour whether he went the way he would have wanted to go, playing hockey with his son because he was a huge family man. He probably would have preferred dying laughing during sex. But this is a good second option for Alan Thicke. So let's remember some of our moments with him because we are a bit crushed by this, and Mike thinks he's going to cry during this.
Well, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. Thank you. I hear I can hear the walking ovation.
How should I introduce you, Alan? Is that okay? Father from Growing Pains, is that all right? Or how should I be introducing you?
Fine, I think things like iconic, legendary, and maybe Your Highness, all kind of, I'm fine with any of that.
How much money do you actually make just from the fact that you wrote 2 of the most famous television songs ever written?
I made enough to have 3 prenups.
I want to talk Tomas Hertl with him.
Yeah.
Is he the best player in hockey? Hockey correspondent.
Who the hell is that?
Yeah.
We were at the Satai for a lovely luncheon.
Balling.
And we're celebrating actually the fact this year that my wife and I turn 100 this year.
Hello, Mike. I have just risen from my slumber. I'm drinking a mint julep. I'm looking at beluga whales here in the Pacific Northwest, which is very relaxing because, as you know, it is tax time and the IRS is coming for an audit.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning or whenever.
Has Alan Thicke ever, while making love, played one of his son's songs?
I count on it. Are you kidding? It's the most perverse thing that I do.
Give me a list of what those things are that Shatner has turned down that Thicke has swooped in to do.
I mean, I did host a bunch of pageants. You know, I hosted Miss Universe and Miss World and Misconception, I mean, you name it, and I probably hosted it.
I want a dollar amount. How much money have you made by Shatner simply saying no?
$473.
Okay, excellent work by you. That was as the host of Misconception.
The only three words that Igor knew in English were vodka, dance, and girls. And I took it upon myself to make sure that all of that came true. And that was the last we saw him on the ice against Canadian teams for some time.
Really, only the only three words that you need to know, right?
I think, yeah. I mean, you might not even need to know dance. It could have been remarkably thick, or painfully thick, or thankfully thick.
You seem to be very happy with your marriage.
I am. I've been happy with all of them.
We have our celebrity prognosticator. I've been told all show that it's a surprise. This suggests to me that we haven't been broadcasting this, that this is not a guest. They couldn't get a real celebrity. I don't even know. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know who this is or what this is, but if it was somebody super famous, we would have told you they were coming on, I think.
Hello.
Oh,
I'm going to try to overlook the not very famous introduction.
When Snoop Dogg on radio one day was asked who the weirdest, most unusual guy he ever smoked weed with was, and when he responded, Alan Thicke, my son's lines lit up like, was he mistaken? Was he talking about you? Could that have been your dad? To which my response, of course, was, well, I was at the same party, maybe in another part of the room.
I want to be there tonight when lightning strikes, fire on ice, something like that.
Is turtle wax still doing well? Is the business of turtle wax?
I don't know.
I wasn't asking you. I was asking.
I've never waxed my turtle.
Okay.
I got my hands full with beavers.
We very much appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get you around here more often. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Dan. My pleasure. We'll talk again sometime.
I hope so. Alan Thicke, be careful. He'll steal your women.
Yeah.
That hurt. That hurt. He wrote the Tampa Bay Lightning fight song, but he didn't remember any of the words to it. I think his most memorable moment with us might have been last week. I'm not even kidding when I say he set up that turtle wax joke, and he set it up from the beginning of the conversation, talking about beavers, and then there was 10 seconds of that stupid music playing beneath him while we were howling with laughter away from the microphone.
He absolutely set that up all by himself. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was last Thursday, right? Because that interview is as Alan Thicke as you can get, all of it. I mean, that's him in a nutshell there.
All right.
Well, I said goodbye to 1440 this morning, to baseball cards and Tonka tanks on a pebble drive, to balsa wood planes and big box kites up in the sky. Oh, I never dreamed my life might fly as high. My daddy saved my clippings in a scrapbook. Now my name's at the top of the page and on the air. They're gonna try and act like I'm some kind of big shot, but they'll never make me something that I'm not. 'Cause I'm a West Hollywood boy, and my heart lies at old 1440. Super Bowls, superstars, things I've never ever seen. Still I dream of that street, yeah, that I knew as a boy. The things I needed most I never ever learned in school. But I got lucky above and beyond all hope. See, everything I needed to know about the scriptures I learned directly from the Pope. He tried to teach me how to write his calligraphy, but over time ink and paper disappeared. A friend offered me fresh air and I breathed again. I flew higher than ever, but my soul stayed on that street. 'Cause I'm a West Hollywood, Florida boy again. And my heart still lies at 1440. Some success, a tiny little bit of fame, and an awful lot of joy. Oh, but still I dream of that home I knew as a boy. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm a West Hollywood boy, and my heart still lies at 1440. The life I've led, I never dreamed, or ever thought I'd see. Oh, but somehow it happened, that sweet old fate dreamed me. Oh yeah. All right.